Live from the 607 is the ODPH Entertainment Edition, where we're talking movies, comics, TV, and more. Why don't you join in the conversation? Hashtag ODPH, because here we go. Welcome to another edition of the ODPH podcast, better known as the Ocho Duro Parlay Hour. I'm your host, Ken M. Joining me in studio is the one and only Padawan J.
Hello, hello, hello.
And folks, as we are recording, it's National Comic Book Day.
Mm-hmm.
So who better to bring in as a guest panelist than the cosplayer extraordinaire, the comics guru that you see every Wednesday on our Facebook page because we share his link from Sound Go Round. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the panel the one and only Justin Credible.
Hi guys, how's it going?
Justin, thank you for coming on the show, man. This has been a long time coming.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I've been looking forward to doing this ever since you guys asked me. So yeah, let's do it. I love this.
Absolutely. Folks, join in the conversation on social media. You can find our accounts on OchoDuroParlayHour.com. You can find links to our Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, and always use the hashtag ODPH because we definitely want to interact with you. A lot of stuff to go over in the land of movies, TV, and comics. Dare I say, is there any better comic series out right now than what Jonathan Hickman is doing with the X-Men?
It's hard to argue.
It is hard to argue. There are some great books out right now. Personally, just like I've been loving everything that's been going on in the Justice League and
all the Scott Snyder and Tynan.
Right, and the everything that's been going with Batman Who Laughs. But oh my God, House of X and Powers of X is just blowing everything out of the water. It's insane. It's completely changing the X-Men story. It's unreal.
Yeah.
Jonathan Hickman just knocked it out of the park.
I mean, he's taking, however many years of established lore and canon and what you know about the X-Men universe, and he's just not blowing the lid off of it. He's putting it in a giant cannon and shooting it to the deepest depths of space.
Yeah, this is something that obviously when he was signed onto the books, we knew it was going to be a long, drawn-out, multi-layered epic. Mm-hmm. I had no idea it was going to be this good.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us really expected this. I mean, the whole just plot twist about Moira and her mutant ability to reincarnate, of all things, and just how she just opened herself up to Charles about her first 10 lives, and just oh my God, he did it. Xavier's doing it. He's just making it happen. The mutant nation is realized.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell Jonathan Hickman's having a ton of fun with this. Because,
oh my God, yeah.
Because he went to Twitter today and quote tweeted an article from the New York Post where the headline from the New York Post says something in the universe is killing off entire galaxies. To which Jonathan Hickman took that and said, "It's me."
Yeah. I mean, he's having a blast with it, and the fans are definitely reciprocating that back to him. Because this has been by far and away one of the best X-Men stories of all time, and we haven't even gotten into the full heart of the story yet.
Yeah.
It helps a little that the last batch of X-Men stories haven't really landed with the readers as well as Marvel would hope. X-Men Gold was tainted with its first issue of Adrian Saif kind of hiding some subversive messages in his artwork. X-Men Blue wasn't, all that great. I liked X-Men Red.
Yeah, that was when Jean Grey was leading the team.
Right. And traditionally, I'm not a huge Jean Grey fan. Just, it's not really anything specific other than, she's just not really a hugely interesting character to me.
It's not your cup of tea.
Right. But in that series, I thought she was fantastic because... And this kind of goes in line with what Hickman's doing right now, and that's, she dropped this whole guise of, I have to be reserved for people to respect my opinion. She went out and was more forceful with herself and really kind of stood up more than she usually does, at least in my eyes.
No, it's a great take on this.
And in the case with House of X and Powers of X, the Xavier and Magneto and all the X-Men and all the mutants really are stepping up. In this new House of X number 5 here, they invite all of the supervillains to the island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
in one of the most mind-blowing pages.
Yeah.
Just knowing the X-Men lore and seeing who comes through the portals.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Marrow, Sinister,
Yeah.
Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Sassy Sinister.
Sassy Sinister.
That's the official name for Mr.
Maybe.
Sinister now.
Maybe because the secrets of Sinister. But we'll talk
That-
about that in a minute.
Absolutely.
I mean, that was the wild thing with the issue. Is like I hadn't had a chance to read the issue first thing when it came out, just because I was busy. But I'd seen some of the rumblings online. And like, yo, this is huge. Like, if you're a fan and you've been reading the series, you need to jump on this now. So I picked up a copy, read it, and I was hanging out with Ken that night. And I picked it up and I went over to his place, and my jaw was on the floor. And he goes, "What?" I go, "You need to read this right now."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because obviously coming into the story, we've now dealt with the whole suicide mission, fighting Orcus up for the Master Mold, and everybody got killed, which was one of the weirdest scenarios to see.
And like the core X-Men, like
Yeah.
the most loved
Yeah.
X-Men, right? Like Cyclops, Jean Grey, Wolverine, Nightcrawler,
Yeah.
all in one shot, just gone.
Which I think any seasoned X-Men fan would expect. All right, we're going into this, and they're bringing up the fact that some of you might not come back. We're going to lose a few people, but I don't think anyone would have guessed that all of them were going to die.
yeah, they did. They definitely didn't go Arrow season finale, where the whole island blows up and only a minor character nobody knew about got killed.
Right.
No, they went full tilt and killed everybody. So obviously we knew that they weren't going to stay dead forever, especially Jean Grey being involved.
Comics.
Yeah, it's just.
But the next issue,
Yeah.
like that's insane, especially in the way they're doing it because, like even it's I think Magneto says it about how throughout history mutants have only been hunted.
Yeah.
And the one thing that got humans to evolve was going from being hunters to being an agrarian society by putting down roots and you know tilling the land and creating society.
Yes.
Right. So in this case, the mutants are with their resurrection machine no longer at the mercy of just being prey. You know?
Right, because I mean,
They're not-
because you really think about it, like by and large, the public's opinion of mutants has been, y'all suck, get out. Like,
Right.
and so there's never been a chance for them to really go, all right, this is good, it's temperate, there's plenty of food, there's enough land for us to make a farm. Like, let's just do this. Like, they might have tried that, and they might have had some successes, but it's by and large, like,
And then some
somebody comes
massive
in.
failures.
Yeah,
'Cause,
Genosha.
Genosha, obviously, the big one.
Yeah, that's the biggest failure thus far. But it's been now reset with the timeline. At least that's the way I'm interpreting it.
Well, they're also talking about like bringing back the entire population of Genosha.
Yeah.
Like in a matter of months.
Yeah.
Like
And how-
millions of mutants just being resurrected over the course of months through this whole like resurrection process where Charles Xavier can just like install people's souls back into their bodies.
Well, I think that only works as far as he was able to scan them.
Right, yes.
So we're going, I mean, if we go based on the fact that, okay, different timeline, maybe he was always scanning them, maybe he wasn't. I feel like if he wasn't able to scan them, okay, they got the DNA, they can make it into said person who was dead.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, listen, we can't imprint your memories and your everything you knew, so maybe we won't just make use the time magic whatever to fully fledge you in the matter of like months, and we'll just we'll just let you grow up and we'll raise you better than you were.
Yeah, and especially how he's doing it by involving 5 mutants to make this happen.
Yes.
And let alone the most important mutant now in the history of mutant kind
Is Gold Balls.
is Gold Balls.
This was the general reaction of most people online.
I mean, to make that character relevant, I mean, I was only expecting Maggot to be somewhere involved because it's just like the powers of Gold Balls is what you make eggs.
Yeah.
Like,
We didn't even know that.
yeah, I didn't.
They were just balls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just
gold
yeah,
balls.
It's just
I mean, you want to talk about taking crumbs and making a meal out of it? Oh boy.
yeah, absolutely. Because when you see that he comes into play, because obviously you see him with Hope Summers and Elixir and Proteus, and you're like, okay, these are some pretty big names, and you're like, what is Gold Balls doing walking with him? And then you find out the whole process where he hatches the eggs.
The process we saw alluded to in issue 1 of House of X.
Right, because there was that whole weird Matrix like.
It was like the opening page.
To me, my X-Men.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell is going on? Because like, when I first read that, I was like, okay, this has got to be evil Reed Richards doing some weird
Yeah,
stuff.
because that helmet was very like the Maker
Yeah.
going on, but apparently it's just Cerebro 5.0. whatever number we're on now.
Yeah, like
Apparently, there's been 4 iterations of Cerebro.
I believe it.
I believe it now. I mean, with Hickman doing it, and especially the Lives of Maureen McTaggart, like I'm sure that this is now version 5, and somehow it's been upgraded every year, like Windows.
I will say, 2 things though.
Sure.
One, I like how in the first issue of House of X, they took that dig at Forge, being like, yeah, Forge isn't an Omega level mutant, and now Forge is directly responsible for the salvation of the mutant race.
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't even have to be an Omega level mutant to be awesome, clearly. But the second thing, it's this concept of like taking these low powered like mutants that you would never really consider,
Sure.
right, and making them part of a greater whole, right?
Yeah.
And it's always weird that they kind of find a way to do that. Like, for example, I'm going to go back a little bit in Secret Empire, right? When the Resistance is trying to get a hold of at least one cosmic cube like fragment.
Sure.
And then they come across this random mutant who can regurgitate anything.
Okay.
That's right.
And they just have him vomit up a piece of cosmic cube.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, it's always these mutants that you'd never expect to be useful, and then here they are, the most useful thing in the world.
yeah, because especially with how Hickman's doing it, because I mean, for me, Cypher has never been useful,
Right.
and now he plays one of the biggest roles
Yeah.
in this story thus far. And I could just keep on seeing like Maggot, because I've always thought that his powers, he can generate 2 maggots to run crazy through the MCU. All right, well, that's not really something, but I'm expecting now to come into play here somewhere.
I'm wondering what they're going to do with Toad.
Toad, I did see, I thought on the cover of Marauders.
Oh, man.
He's somewhere there.
I'll look it up.
I thought so. So Pat's going to take a look at what we're
I feel
talking.
like everyone's kind of expecting the Marauders to be the bad one.
It looks it right now like I don't know. It's just something when I looked at the cover, I heard the Gilligan's Island theme come in, and I just see like, but I hear it in Kitty Pryde's voice, and I'm like,
my God.
yeah, like yeah. Once you look at the cover now, think of that, you will never be able to escape it. And I just see that, I'm just like, all right, I have no idea what's going on with this book. That and Fallen Angels, like right now out the gate, I'm like not like Fallen Angels just looks like too CW-ish for me. Like
Right on.
3 teens out in the lone world fighting against mutant kind and humanity. Kid Cable stars in.
There you go.
Yeah. Once you see that cover, I thought he's somewhere in the corner somewhere. Maybe I read it. I don't know. But if Toad's there, that would just even go better.
That'd be
with
the
Marauders.
that'd be the wildest thing, because I can't remember the last time Toad would be so prominently featured in something. Like the only thing that comes to mind was the X-Men Evolution TV series.
I don't know. I still have
Yeah.
that frame from the X-Men movie when
Oh God.
yeah, Halle Berry drops the line on him about Toads and electricity. But I digress. We don't need to get into that.
No.
But looking at though how they're doing the regeneration process, I mean, with
Right.
Tempest involved too. I mean, this is just kind of like just absolutely wild that they're doing it, and especially that Xavier has now found a way for mutants to cheat death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
how next level is this?
It's one of those things where like I don't have to suspend any disbelief for. Like I'm seeing it and going, okay, this is their power and this is what they're doing. Okay, you know what? This makes sense.
Yeah, it makes complete sense, and especially with the take on Xavier, who's now, I don't want to say he's more Magneto than Magneto, but
I'm going to say he's more proactive than he's ever been.
Oh, I would definitely agree with that.
Yes.
I just I fear, and I'm really hoping Hickman doesn't even try instigating Onslaught into this.
Right.
Like, let Onslaught go. I never want
God.
to see him appear again. Just bad idea, bad everything involving. But it just, with how proactive he is and just how cool and calculating he is just such a fresh take on Xavier. Because usually he's been just one that has the optimistic hope. And now it's very conniving, very calculating. And to see his plan now succeeding
Yes.
is just absolutely wild, because he's now established that Kuroka is now a recognized nation,
Yeah.
albeit with help from Emma Frost.
Help from Emma Frost, and even Xavier was a little surprised by this, because there's one panel where he admits he's like, I'm a little surprised, because I can't remember the exact countries, but there were 2 countries he specifically said that.
Russia and France.
Thank you. That he was like, yeah, I thought they were gonna like prevent us from getting this, because the way they were looking at it was, if all the permanent nations in the United Nations voted for him, this thing would get fast tracked.
Right.
And if it didn't happen, it was going to be a little bit longer. And they're having like a little celebration with, champagne going. Oh, and Xavier's like, oh, I'm a little surprised this happened.
Yes, but once he finds out Emma Frost kind of tampered with the vote,
Yeah.
he does kind of allude that everything comes with a cost. So I'm not sure what that is foretelling involving Emma Frost. Because obviously Emma Frost is Emma Frost, one of the shadiest characters in all the MCU, if not Marvel, period.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think of is happening is that the world is not exactly, and by the world I mean the other nations, aren't going to take this lightly. That, on the surface they might be like, all right, you guys do your own thing, we'll be okay, but they might be like mounting some sort of effort because, they've never been comfortable with mutants in the past. I mean, we know the history. Now they're all in one location, and the villains that they typically fought in the past are now with them too. So you gotta have a few prime ministers and presidents and world leaders going, yeah, what are we doing about this?
Especially now that every mutant on the planet now enjoys diplomatic immunity.
I gotta say though, the one thing I loved about after they were recognized as a nation, they put in the list of countries that they had like issues with, or they had no sort of trade deals with. I loved the Wakanda bit, because it was essentially like, they're Wakanda, they don't need mutant drugs.
Yes. Wakanda is the most technologically advanced nation in the entire world. They don't need anybody. And Latveria is Latveria, which sometime down the road there's going to be a power struggle between them and Doom.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Well, there's got to be some mutants in Latveria, right?
Yeah.
So it comes down to a question of like, who are they going to claim as citizen, right?
That's true.
Yeah, that's what I would think, and especially with how deep Hickman's digging for mutants of the we've all forgotten. I'm wondering who could possibly be there that we haven't thought about.
Mutants we've forgotten, or mutants we just never cared to remember.
What if it's Morph?
Oh Lord.
Oh my God.
I'm saying we haven't seen him in the MC or the comics universe thus far, just the animated series.
Seen him in a while.
Yeah.
Just in general.
Yeah. So to see him show up, because, we haven't seen a lot of mutants just yet. Obviously the relaunch is happening in 2 weeks. But to see, though, the final pages of the book, where Wolverine is questioning the move Xavier is doing, and then when Apocalypse and company walk through those portals, that just solidifies everything is now coming to fruition.
Yeah.
And just how absolutely wild, thinking back to what Apocalypse has done to the X family over the years, the Executioner song, to what he's personally done to Scott Summers and Jean Grey throughout the history of time.
Oh my God.
And just to see everybody very calm, and just how proactive he is now with Xavier. It's chilling on one aspect, just to think about everything that's happened in the past, and now everybody's united. And now what is the possibility of the future moving forward?
It's not just they're all united, they're all on the same page.
Yeah.
Because that's the most shocking thing to me about that final sequence was Apocalypse basically being like the dad pat on the back, like, good job, guys.
This is what I've wanted for you all along.
This is what I've been trying to get you to, the point I've been trying to get you guys to.
Good job, champ.
And I'm like, oh, this is not good.
Yeah, because it's almost like the corruption of Xavier, maybe, or just the fact that his dream is now reality, so it's no longer a dream.
Well, it harkens back to that first issue, right? Or it harkens back to that first issue, right? Where Magneto just outright says it, like, you have new gods now. In like what they said, a 20-year span, humans were just going to be extinct, and not even like extinct, just like bred out of existence, because that's just how sex works.
Yeah,
right.
It's just the evolution of Homo superior has now just dominated, and Xavier's found a way to accelerate it too.
Yeah.
Well, obviously he's going to be bringing back a ton of their own population, and taking in the Uncanny X-Men, right? In the series that took place before this one, a mutant cure was created, and Dark Beast created an anti-cure.
It was a vaccine to it or something. Right, a variation
that's been dispersed to every single person on the earth.
Right.
So if they're ever given that cure, it results in death.
Right.
Right. So like, if you want to try and cure your kid of the mutant, problem before they even develop the symptom, you're going to kill your kid.
Yeah.
So there's no way at this point to cure the X gene. It's impossible,
Right.
without killing the host. At which point, it is absolutely genocide. I mean, like,
Yeah.
curing them, like as Destiny brought up in the Moira book, is still a form of genocide. But now because of what Dark Beast did before House of X, it is absolutely genocide.
Right. So unless they try tying in Reed Richards to be the one to find the so-called cure to that,
And he's not gonna.
and he's not going to. Even though I did like, though, in House of X1, the little jab
God.
Cyclops threw at him, like, let Franklin know his family's ready for him whenever he's...
Yeah.
Yeah, but then Namor,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because the same thing is said to Namor, and Namor is just like, I don't need this.
Yeah, Namor is Namor.
Right?
He's just... Yeah.
This is true.
I was already proud of who I was.
Yeah. I mean, and just wait till he starts getting more involved with the storyline. I just can't wait till Hickman gets his teeth in him.
I'm still disappointed that. Okay, so personal opinion, I think they rushed the MCU, especially in terms of Captain America. The first Captain America movie should have ended with him beating the Red Skull, but not like getting frozen in ice.
Sure.
It should have led into a second Captain America movie, which would have been the Invaders, right?
Okay.
Which would have brought in the Human Torch, who was teased in the first Captain America movie.
Sure. This is true.
We could have also gotten Namor and Bucky and like everyone else, and that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
But instead, they fast tracked it so that we could get an Avengers movie out, and here we are. And now we're trying to find some way to shoehorn Namor into the MCU, which
Have they settled on the rights of that? Because to
I
my
don't even
knowledge,
know.
because
I don't even
we're
know.
sitting here in 2019, the MCU has been going for the better part of 11, 12 years now, and we still don't know who has the rights to Namor. And anyone that gets asked in interviews about this is like, yeah, about that. Next question, please.
The last I knew was Universal, but Feige has had a good working relationship with them because they own the Hulk rights too.
Right.
So I think as long as they're not using them and the money is good on both sides, I think they're allowed to slide them in. Because I know that there was that little quick jab they threw in Endgame about the earthquakes underwater around Wakanda.
Yeah, they mentioned the ocean.
Yeah.
So obviously Namor's got
Everybody freaked out with Namor,
Yeah.
even though we've had the Human Torch in there the entire time.
Right, and multiple mentions of the ocean. I mean, like, the ocean appeared in Captain America. The ocean appeared in the Hulk. The ocean.
But the ocean appeared in Avengers.
Yeah, but the minute they said earthquake, everybody's jumping like, Namor, Namor. And it's like...
Ocean was in the Avengers. The freaking helicarrier came out of it.
I know. Me personally, I'm hoping they, now with Disney Plus, that they go back in time and do an Invaders series.
That'd be nice.
That'd be good.
Because I think once they cast Namor, who, if it is Keanu Reeves, who has been the last rumor I've heard, but then again, he's tagged with everybody right now in the
I'll
MCU.
say if it's an upcoming project and it has a male lead, Keanu Reeves is tied to it.
Right. But I think he would actually be good at it because I think that what I've been hearing lately is for Black Panther 2, they're going to do like a political thriller.
Right.
Wakanda versus Atlantis.
No, that was okay. So, Boss Logic.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen his artwork.
Yes.
Yeah.
Put out a poster that heavily implied that it was Black Panther 2, the Two Kingdoms, and had a trident. But that's since been debunked. And in the last time we saw, Chadwick Boseman and Michael B. Jordan do an interview about, they just kind of like, no, that's not happening. But that's for now.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
There's
plans change.
Right. As it stands, there's no. As far as I know, there's no like working script for anything.
No, we just have a release date.
Right. I mean, plans change. I mean,
I don't even think we have a release date for Black Panther 2.
No, nothing. They've said they're working on it. They said so as much at San Diego Comic-Con.
Right.
But they didn't give a firm date. It's not in the next phase.
I thought D23 they mentioned.
No.
They gave a date.
That was when I saw that interview. The
Okay.
D23 thing.
Yeah, I think that they did mention a date. Like it was going to be tentatively May 2022. That was
I'll look
the
it up.
last I thought I read about
down
that.
the line, isn't it?
Yes. So I mean, there is some time to obviously flip the script, and then who knows what they're going to wind up doing.
May 6th, 2022.
Yes. So they have the date.
I am so stoked for Master of Kung Fu.
Oh,
Oh my God, Simu Lao. I love him so much.
can you imagine though if they try tying in Shang-Chi though to House of X and everything they're doing with the mutants?
That'd be wild.
Well, they got their own thing going on with Agents of Atlas and Swordsmaster and Arrow, new on shelves, and
But you got to figure though, once this story gets going, and obviously when Dawn of X and everybody spawns out into their own books, they're going to have to start tying in everybody else from the MCU.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they can't keep it so closed. And especially once you start seeing the interaction they have with the rest of the MCU, and now Xavier's reality is going to be their reality.
Right, and especially with what they're doing and everything they're kind of implying and setting up, I gotta imagine there's certain characters in the comic universe that are not gonna be okay with that.
No, definitely not.
I'm
But
actually surprised we haven't seen Captain America say something.
Yeah,
I think they're
that one
saving
came to
that.
mind.
Right? I mean, he did say something in Uncanny X-Men before this, and but otherwise, yeah, we haven't heard anything from anyone else in the Marvel universe except for
Outside
Reed Richards.
of Reed Richards and Fantastic Four, but that was like issue 2.
And even then, that was like,
Blinking
why
mess
did
up.
you rob us?
Yeah,
Yeah. So obviously Hickman is just setting it up. But like I said, as soon as Dawn hits, now we're going to see everybody else get involved. And how good is that going to be?
Oh my God.
it's gonna be nuts.
Yeah, just wait for that. And then obviously, though, with House and Powers wrapping up very shortly, Hickman is setting that groundwork. And once they get really rolling on it, look out, because this is going to be something to watch going into the fall of 2019.
Yeah.
But definitely let us know what you think. Hit us up on that hashtag ODPH. What is your thoughts of the latest issue of House of X? What's your thoughts of Powers of 10? We definitely want to know. Stay tuned. We're going to be right back.
Hey, I heard you like movies. I heard you like to hustle. I heard you like podcasts. Well, guess what? There's a podcast for you out there called The Home Video Hustle. Damn right. Every Friday we talk about whatever movie PJ picks out the bag. What does that mean? Every Wednesday on our YouTube page, I put a bunch of movies in a bag, and PJ picks one out at random. And then we just watch it. We talk about it for maybe like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever we feel like doing, wherever the conversation leads us. But do we actually talk about the movie? Most of the time. Tangents galore. Yes. So believe me, we may be a movie podcast, but it's not always about movies. We may talk about video games, music. Yeah, that's the big one, music. Sometimes we might get a little bit of politicalness in there. Yes. Sometimes we may just, we know what we like to do. We like to tell stories, PJ. Yes. I am the master storyteller of the podcast realm. Undefeated. So if you like to hear about movies, video games, whatever foolishness comes to our mind, the most random stuff you could think of, check out the Home Video Hustle. You can find us on the Stitchers, the Google Play, Apple Podcasts, what else? Podbean, what else? Podcast Addict, goddamn, all that. Ain't no reason you can't get your hustle on. We everywhere, worldwide, baby. Hustle, motherfucking hustle. Hey, we can't cuss in the promo, PJ. We gotta be family friendly. There may be podcasts out there that don't want his hair say all that good fun stuff. Well, you. Don't run the listeners away, PJ. I'm sorry. But this is going kind of long. Yes. So we'll end this and say, hey, check out the Home Video Hustle every Friday on all the various podcast outlets. Peace.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is George Gatton, and you are listening to the Ocho Duro Parlay Hour Entertainment Edition.
Coming back for segment number 2 here on the ODPH podcast with Justin Credible joining us in studio.
Hi, guys. How's it going?
Oh, we are having a great time here. And we were just talking spoilers of House of X, which is a great series that you should be picking up at your local comic book shop, such as Sound Go Round. But now we have to kind of flip the attention to the DC Universe. Now, Justin, you are a big fan of the DC Universe streaming service.
I'm a big fan of DC in general, but yes, the DC streaming service every show they've given us has been fantastic. Just Titans, Doom Patrol.
Doom Patrol is amazing.
Doom Patrol is so good.
You can't binge it though.
No, you can't.
No,
you can't, because like your brain can't handle that much weird.
Yeah,
it's got to be the first time with Doom Patrol that I've ever heard so universally a reaction about the show that people, people go, what about Doom Patrol? How is that? And the people who've seen it go, it's amazing. Yeah. And they sing its praises, and then the next sentence is, but don't watch it all at once.
Oh yeah.
No, you will be completely messed up.
Listen, I watched all of Umbrella Academy by Gerard Way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched the first episode of Doom Patrol.
Oh boy.
Which completely blew all of Umbrella Academy out of the water for me.
Sure. Fully agree.
So good. So insanely good. And of course, oh God, what's his name again?
Tudyk?
No,
Brendan Fraser?
Brendan Fraser's back.
Yeah.
And his first scene.
It's incredible.
Oh
like,
my God.
you need to see it. And I'm so happy they got renewed too. And especially now they're going to put it on HBO Max too.
I don't know how it couldn't get renewed. I mean, like, okay, so that episode where Negative Man finally gets with his lover there.
Right.
Like, oh my God.
Just the emotional.
The next day I heard Elton John's Your Song, and like it's like I heard it for the actual first time. Like I actually heard it in the context of the way it was written and the way it was meant to be heard. And like if you watch that episode and then listen to that song and then just replace the word song with dream.
Yeah. It hits so close. Like how they've done the diversity.
Yes.
And so well. And just Matt Bomer as Negative Man and just his take on the role has been so incredible. And Diane Guerrero, like how she has not been nominated for an Emmy for Crazy Jane.
Yeah. It's unreal. It's unfair, honestly. Like I saw the other day, Supergirl won an award for best superhero show of the year.
Sure.
Which I'm not gonna lie, I absolutely love Supergirl, especially this season, because it was a great discussion on like the far left and the far right political spectrum in terms of like aliens and superheroes and whatnot. And like I thought it was a really amazing discussion on that, and it resonates especially with how things are today. But Doom Patrol is just this fantastic discussion on mental illness and how with great power comes the great responsibility to share it with others and give it away, and just like oh my God,
everything just about it is just it sums up
there's no superhero story out there that's like Doom Patrol right now.
No, it's one of a kind. Like you can watch anything you want on the CW, and it's not a shot at any of those shows.
No, those are great shows.
They're great shows. But Doom Patrol is in a whole other class, just dealing with, the sexuality issue of Negative Man and dealing with the family struggle of Robot Man and just the history of Elastigirl. And even when the show first came out and I heard Cyborg was coming on the show. Yeah. And I was like, how is this going to work? It works so perfect.
So well. Like, and I know people were kind of like mad that Beast Boy wasn't going to be like a regular on it, but they did that. They did that episode.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, when they did Titans episode or season 1, episode 4, and they did the intro, it made sense, and how they set it up for Doom Patrol to succeed. Because when Titans first came out, and let's face it, when that first trailer came out, and everybody heard the F Batman line, and like everybody lost their mind, especially me, because I'm going like, wait, what? Like,
I'm pretty sure we had an entire segment just crapping all over it.
Oh yeah, because
really?
Because
for the first trailer, like
for the trailer,
no,
yeah,
I get that.
But like my thing about it was like, okay, this is completely out of context, and this kind of looks like
but it totally isn't though.
But no, when you watch the episode,
I get that. But like even before then, okay, so
I know we're kind of going off topic here, but let's go with it.
I'm a huge DC fan, and like one of my favorite things about the DC universe is Nightwing.
Yeah,
like how he becomes Nightwing. How he was the first kid psychic, etc.
Yeah,
but like one of the okay, so Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah,
right. There's one episode that just keeps flashing back into my mind every time I heard F Batman, right? And that's this episode where Batman is chasing down a henchman for the Joker, right?
Okay.
And he's chasing him through apartment buildings. Robin is like tailing him, right? And Batman's like super aggressive about it right now. Like he's just like not letting anything in its way. And dude, like, he weaves through these apartments, runs into this apartment, and Batman tackles him and just starts pounding him, just beating this man's face in, screaming, "Where is he?" Right?
Yeah.
And Robin comes in and watches him beat this man just bloody in front of his own son.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I can't do this anymore, right? Like, you're a monster, and you're turning me into a monster. And when I first saw that trailer, and I heard him say that was the first scene that ran to my mind. And I was like, "Yup."
See, that didn't register with me. Like when I saw it, I just thought the initial first thought was, okay, we're making a superhero Riverdale. And I was like, combine a little
Oh, I
Rob
can't even
Liefeld
deal with
Extreme
it.
Studios
I can't do
for the violence. Like, that's what I first saw it. I'm going, oh my God, like, how are you going to try selling this? Because that's literally that's the first thing I saw. I'm going, oh my God, no, this is going to be cheesy and it's going to suck.
It was the first trailer for anything out of the DC universe, and so we're like, wait, and I think a lot of people's reaction, my reaction included, was, wait a minute, this is the original Robin who tries to be holier than Bruce Wayne himself, and he's saying F Batman. Wait, what?
Yeah, but once you watch that first episode, that line is taken so out of context.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah,
It's true.
so once I saw it, I go, oh, okay, this makes sense, and like I was like, okay, I'm in, and everything about the show, like I thought they had a good first season. Starfire, best part of the show, first
Oh my
season.
God, she was
Anna
so
Diop.
sassy, and I love. You know what? I love it. I love it when haters gotta hate, and they gotta be like, she's dressed inappropriately. Man, did you ever read her origin story?
Yeah.
Like, whoa, dude.
Yeah.
And just because like the Teen Titans cartoon made it child friendly does not mean that that's the way the character is in the comics.
Yeah.
Right? There's source material for
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
stuff,
the
people.
Wolfman Perez run. Just enough said.
Even by today's standards, like Starfire's still, a very, proud person who is not afraid to show off who she is. Like,
Yeah. She's so self-confident in herself that she does not care what anybody thinks, or
she don't need no man.
Yeah, the public opinion. Yeah, no, I mean obviously. I mean the Red Hood and Outlaws series. I mean that's
right.
Yeah, case in point.
Well, I just watched Teen Titans versus the Justice League the other day. Just 'cause,
so good.
I hadn't seen it in a while, so I rewatched it, and like the way they portray Corey in that is just fantastic, but they still like throw in those little like subtle
Subtle jabs.
I slept with Dick,
Yeah.
like, stuff like that. Well, okay, so that's his name, I swear. Well, it's Rick now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole other discussion.
Speaking of which, I just saw in the new previews that Rick Grayson, who is Dick Grayson, but
The artist
with
formerly known as.
amnesia,
Yeah.
because comic books, is
Reasons.
going to be taking on the mantle of the Talon.
Really?
Yeah.
That could be something.
So that'll be interesting. That's tied into DC's Year of the Villain, which it's been just insane series where Lex Luthor becomes an apex predator and has made an offer to every single supervillain in the world, along with the citizens of their world, to take what's rightfully theirs and lean the nature of the universe more from justice towards doom, heralding the return of this like multiversal goddess known as Perpetua.
Yeah.
She's like the mother of the multiverse and the Monitors and the World Forger, who, the World Forger just came out of Dark Knight's Metal. The Monitors, obviously, they've been around since Crisis on Infinite Earths, which, that crossover, oh my God.
Yeah.
Tom Welling's back.
Yeah. But Rosenbaum.
I read that thing.
Yeah, we'll get into that in one shots. Definitely, we will deep dive into that. But for like everything they've done with the characters too, I mean, and especially for Titans, to bring it back to the subject here,
Right.
Just how they've done it, and especially the show. Like I said, it was good. It had a couple episodes I was like, okay, not the best, but first season you're going to deal with Doom Patrol. How they set them up to succeed. And how they ended the season 1, like I thought the first 20 minutes of seasons 2 premiere should just tied in with that.
Yeah. I was saying the same thing
The
other day.
the cliffhanger was not a cliffhanger.
It didn't need to be a cliffhanger.
Right.
I mean, it did, because obviously this is a new fledgling network type thing, and they needed to make sure that they were going to get a second season.
Well, they announced at New York Comic Con last year that they were renewed.
Right.
For season 2.
And I'm not even sure if this is technically a season 2, because I remember there was supposed to be like a mid-series break, and then they were supposed to come back, which makes sense for how this season, I'm doing air quotes, season, started off.
It was kind of tricky because I think they were trying to do some other shows first, but with Swamp Thing getting canceled early, I think that threw a wrench in everything, because we still haven't heard about Stargirl when that's supposed to get released, because that was supposed to come out, I think, in December, but I haven't seen anything for that.
That is true. Although I'm kind of surprised they got Luke Wilson for that.
Yeah, like the casting they got for that show is actually really good.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see where they go with that. But Titans has been what's set the benchmark, and obviously the first season is very good. The second started out a little slow for me, but is really picked up. Like the first the premiere episode. Yeah,
it picks up so quickly.
Because now we're getting to the Judas contract and who is Donna Troy. Like, I'm just kind of seeing where the stories are going from the Wolfman and Perez run. And as we jump into this episode, and we are talking spoilers.
Donna threw a freaking motorcycle at him.
Yeah. How badass was that?
I'm like, this guy, yeah, he's got light powers, but man, like...
yeah, Donna Troy
he's
just...
still human.
Yeah. Donna Troy is just... the best, like, so far she's opened out of the gate as one of the best characters on the season thus far. I mean, she was great at season 1, but season 2 she is just going into it.
Dude, I love Hawk though.
The story they've set up with Hawk and Dove.
Break your heart.
Alan Richardson has been playing him just... I didn't think there was that much depth to this character, to be honest. But Richardson has been...
dude, yeah, no, you got to check out the comics.
I got to go back and read them. Because, like, before, like, I don't know, Hawk and Dove just never really connected with me. Like, I always thought they were interesting characters. I know they're tied with the Titans. And just how they did the origin story in season 1 was great.
Oh, my God.
And to see the progression that's going on now with the character and just how he wants to leave, but, like, he's a drug addict to the superhero game.
Yeah.
I mean, and how crazy of a take is that? But it works, though. It so works because as we leave off and they are now coming to San Francisco to Titans Tower, which I'm kind of glad it wasn't a big T on the show.
Yeah.
I think there's so much weird, like, the fan reaction to that was just weird. Like, people were like, oh, it's not a T. And then other people were like, yeah, because it would collapse on itself because that's not how physics works.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I'm sitting there going, like, how are you going to do this? The thing will
Wait
come
a
down.
minute. You mean to tell me cartoon shows don't follow the laws of physics?
I'm telling you that comic books don't follow the laws of
right,
physics.
but this is live action, so thus we have to kind of find a precedent.
Yeah, that's true.
So obviously with the tower being there and as it is, and owned by Bruce Wayne too, which...
Well, it wasn't it always? I feel like in the comics it was.
I think like it was, and then I wasn't sure if it got retconned. Like for some reason, like something was jumping out. Like I don't know who the mysterious benefactor is, but it probably
I'm
always.
I'm sure it was always Batman, and then like eventually, Dick buys it.
Well, I know with what was it with
something.
Young Justice in season 1 when they set up their own base. It was kind of like I forget the exact specifics because it's been a while since I've seen season 1 of
It
Young
was like
Justice.
the former.
It was like a
headquarters of the
former
Justice.
headquarters
Yeah.
that like they still own, but like, hey, we're just using it for storage. We're not really doing anything with it. So here you go.
Yeah. So obviously, when they decided to return to San Francisco, everything's been a little crazy, and now with the younger team of Beast Boy and Raven and Jason Todd, who was kicked out of the Batcave for tampering with a computer with questionable websites.
Yeah.
How hysterical was that line?
So you're saying he was going to LimeWire?
He was doing something.
Okay, so we all know how big the monitor is to the Batcave, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, that's the only reason.
Yup.
Yeah.
It's like, you can bring those same websites up on your phone.
Yeah.
It's an aspect ratio thing.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Can you imagine like Batman's reaction walking into the Batcave and going,
Oh my God.
what is this saved on the
No,
browser?
no, you know what it is? It's kind of like back in the 90s. He went to hop on the internet to check something and got 1,000 pop-ups.
Yeah, he's going like,
And he can't close any of them.
yeah, so the back computer is down, so
Jason, you turned off the browsing or the ad block. Why would you turn off the ad block?
So now he's banished out with Dick Grayson, and they're forming their team and doing their training. Which the blindfold sword fighting, I'm still
That
getting,
was cool.
It's cool, but I'm still getting used to it.
Okay, so like, I love Raven.
Yeah,
I think the girl they got to play her is fantastic.
Tegan Croft is awesome.
I love the character they've done so far. I don't think she is skilled enough at this point to fight anyone with a katana while blindfolded.
No,
in general.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But it was very, very cool to watch, and Jason Todd totally had that coming.
Yeah, Kern Walters is
Which-
completely playing him to the letter.
I guess you could just say that for any scene that he's in is you totally had that coming.
Yeah,
Yeah?
he is completely giving you every reason to hate Jason Todd.
Oh yeah,
But he's doing it so smoothly.
it's wonderful.
Yeah, he is just one of the best parts of this season. And now that they've added him, and especially that now he's figured out, okay, who Rose Wilson's dad is, which is Slade Wilson, which is never good for anybody involved. And as they're moving forward, the team is updated about Deathstroke because now Hawk and Dove have now come since Dr. Light have ran him out of Wyoming. Donna Troy has now come from Chicago because Starfire is technically missing at this stage.
Right. Because
she's been kidnapped. And they're getting the update that, oh yeah, Deathstroke is back and we have her daughter in the tower. And the reaction is what you would expect.
Yeah. Oh God, why? Dick, why?
Yeah.
Dick?
And he has...
Richard?
He has no answer. He has none. Like, I'm sorry, like, his whole explanation was just like,
I'll deal with it.
Yeah, I'll deal with it. And they're like, this is the whole reason the team separated the first time.
Yep.
And he's like, yeah, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. I'm like, no, this is freaking Slade Wilson.
Yeah.
This isn't the Royal Flush Gang.
This is possibly the deadliest man on Earth.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
Oh, and the guy that got to play him is just so intense. I love him.
Yeah, like I thought when they didn't get Manu Bennett, like it was going to be an issue, but Asai Morales has been killing it.
Great.
I mean, and especially
great casting choice.
Yeah, just how he's kind of brought himself into the show, and he's definitely making his take on him stand out. Because, like I said, Manu Bennett was a great Deathstroke.
Oh, Manu Bennett's phenomenal. And I know when they kind of teased or it was rumored that Deathstroke would be coming to this season, everyone was like, Manu Bennett, please.
Yeah. But Morales is doing his thing on
And
this.
I think even Manu Bennett, like, publicly came out and was like, listen, if they want me to do it, I'm down for it.
Well, yeah, because I forget what show he was filming. It was the Chronicles there.
Oh, yeah, Shannara?
Yeah.
However you say it?
Whatever it was.
Shanana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever that one show was. So I thought he was tied up at the time. But the casting has been great with Deathstroke and how he's just implementing himself by playing the long game, teaming up with Dr. Light, who is, a human with light powers.
I'm not a huge fan of the casting. I like the actor. I liked him on the reboot-ish thing of Scrubs.
Yeah, Michael Mosley.
It wasn't a great reboot, but I liked him. I liked his character. But like when I see Arthur Light in my mind, right? I see this like mustache twirling, like kind of classical supervillain, but over the top and like,
I see him being Alan
brilliant.
Tudyk. Yeah. Like
right?
Alan Tudyk, I think.
Right.
Like, I mean, comparing with Mr. Nobody, but
in this case, like, he's very much a dude bro.
Yeah.
With superpowers and like a not visually appealing suit.
No, he looks like he stole something out of Cadmus.
Right.
And that's why I sit there and
like a prototype.
Yeah, like it just looks like bad body armor. Like at first I thought it was Guardian for some reason.
Right.
And I'm going, why is Guardian
or the Ray?
Yeah,
even.
like it's just how it's designed.
Actually, it looks a lot like the Ray.
Yeah, now that you mention that. Yeah, the whole headpiece because it's got like the faux hawk
and the chest.
Yeah.
Is that the Ray's armor?
Oh my god, I think it is.
Did we accidentally just figure out that the Ray is on this show?
I think we did.
Whoops.
Oh, we're tweeting this out after the show.
If we get an email in the inbox saying
cease and desist.
Yeah, we get a cease and desist.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, if we get a cease and desist from Warner Brothers, we know we hit something.
Full exclusive on the ODPH. Won't be the first time, won't be the last.
If you're listening to this episode and it suddenly stops, that's because we were forced to pull it down.
Yeah, so we might be taking a 2-week hiatus until we figure it out. But still, we're talking right now, so hey, they haven't pulled the plug yet. But as we're going into it, but yeah, I fully agree. Like his character is just, I understand how they're trying to do it to be a complete different dynamic from Deathstroke.
Right.
But it's just like, it's coming off as Deathstroke is just toying with him because he's going to wind up killing him. Like you can kind of sense that that's coming. And it's just kind of like he's coming off as a henchman, which in the comics, he's not a henchman.
Right.
He's one of the most notorious villains in all the DC.
Although, there is a moment in DC's history in which we see Dr. Light and Deathstroke together.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Identity Crisis.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, that's what...
So, like, do you think this Arthur Light has had his mind wiped at any point?
I think that if they do what I think they're going to do, yes.
All right.
Because,
That's what I was thinking because, like, what happened?
Yeah.
Right? Like, yes, obviously there's a relationship between Slade and the Titans, but there's also a relationship between Light and the Titans, and they definitely sent all the heavy hitters to go deal with Light.
Yeah. That I think that there is a character that we haven't seen yet get introduced that would be involved in that storyline, because obviously they're not going to tie in the Elongated Man without spoiling anything.
Right, obviously.
So unless they do what I've heard they're rumored to do in Crisis on Infinite Earths, they're going to tie in the DCU into that.
Oh, that'd be wild.
So CW meets DCU.
That'd be wild.
I've heard some rumblings.
All right.
Whether it's a cameo shot or something.
I mean, all I know is that technically there are 4 Supermen signed onto this.
Yeah.
Because Dean Cain.
Yep.
Right? Tom Welling.
Yep.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Tyler Hoechlin.
Yep.
And
Roth.
Brandon Ruth. Yeah.
Yeah, Ruth there. Yeah, that I think is possible. So we might see something happen. I don't know.
If they get Henry Cavill in this thing, I'm going to lose my freaking mind.
Dude.
That might be the highest, if whatever episode that they're all on screen together might be the highest rated TV show in history.
Oh my God. Like, either way, 4 Supermen.
Yeah.
That's it. 4 of the living Supermen.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you can't do better than that right now. I
No.
mean, like, you could get all the Batman together, I suppose, but
Yeah.
I don't think it would have the same effect, to be honest with you.
No.
that's because Val Kilmer looks the way he does.
Yeah, I think that, and
Well,
I think,
and you
and
know
I think
what?
the
And you know
minute
what?
everybody sees Clooney, they would just turn it off. They'd be like, "Oh no."
Right, and I think you could even bring in Christopher Reeve if you want to make it 5 with, now I understand he's dead, but if I'm not mistaken, his wife had a part in Smallville after he died.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, so I mean, you could have his wife play a cameo, and hey, there's the connection. I mean, it's not Christopher Reeve, but it's his wife.
I'm still sad that Rosenbaum's not coming back.
Yet. But
Yet.
we'll get to that.
Yeah, we're gonna dive into that on one
Offer
shot.
him the money, DC. Do it.
Yeah, because
Give him money.
because especially if they can tie in everybody, and especially this is the one time you're bridging
John
the gap
Cryer
with everybody.
versus Michael Rosenbaum.
We need that.
Rosenbaum every time.
Oh my God! Make Rosenbaum the Earth 3 Luthor.
Oh.
Yeah, Alexander.
Oh.
What?
Oh,
What?
now I lost my train of thought because I'm okay. that is amazing. But getting back to the episode, oh yeah, one shot is going to be extended on that one, folks. But when they start dealing with Dr. Light, and they do have that fight scene too with Donna Troy with the motorcycle.
Oh my God!
I mean, just how they're she's using the lasso of truth.
I'm just like, every time Donna whips it out, I'm just like, oh no.
Yeah, because she is just wrecking shop. And I'm loving the pairing with her.
She doesn't have the lasso of truth though.
Or it's not. Well, I
It's
keep on
something
thinking
else.
this, but it's a different one. But every time I see it, because I'm just waiting for it to explain it as. Because I thought they mentioned or they were teasing something about it. Because I know that obviously they haven't introduced Wonder Woman in this universe thus yet, but it's still to say it's going to happen. But the pairing that she has with Starfire and how they're building off that, with Starfire now going off on her own adventure, but yet coming back because they're dealing with Tamaran, I think is a nice ploy.
It's the lasso of persuasion.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, so my bad on that one. But I thought at one point they were referring to it as the truth. Like maybe I was reading a couple places.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, because they haven't introduced Diana Prince yet. But obviously, if they've done Batman, they're going to be introducing Wonder Woman, I think, at some point.
They're definitely introducing Aquaman.
Oh, Aquaman
Right.
is
Oh, yeah.
coming.
Definitely happening.
And I'm not doubting Momoa shows up for that.
That'd be amazing.
I'm not. He loves his DC.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I would love to see that. Although right now I believe he's in the midst of protesting out in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But anything is possible, so I'm not doubting that he does show up because, like I say, any man that goes and writes on every single autograph F Marvel, he's pro DC, and they'll be like, "Yeah, you want to show up for this? Cool." And he'll just come running on screen, and we need to see that because once they start introducing Aqualad and where they're going to go with him, I mean, I think that's going to tie into a flashback sequence so far because we have not seen anything thus yet saying that when he shows up, he's going to be in the current timeline. Because as they're dealing with it, you have the older guard is dealing with Dr. Light. Deathstroke is setting up the newer one because Jason Todd doesn't want to sit on the sidelines and decides to go Jason Todd, which he's like, oh, I know where Dr. Light is because he disappeared. I'm going to go chase him.
oh dude. Do you think he'll turn him into the Red X?
Ooh.
I don't.
Ooh.
I hope, but
be
I
good.
don't think they're going to do that.
I'm just saying.
I think they're going to just try setting up Death of the Family too much, or Death in the Family rather. I think that's what they're going to wind up doing. I mean, obviously without the 1-800 number, but I think they're going to.
I don't know. I'd seen somewhere that they might consider doing that.
If
at least
they-
as an online poll.
Could you imagine if they did that?
Oh my god!
And just between the subscribers, and if you offer some deal, like you extended like a 2-week trial if you vote on it.
Right.
How brilliant strategy
Get
is
a
that?
month of DC streaming for free.
DC Universe, holler at us and take a month off our bill. We're giving you free advertising here on this one.
This is not sponsored yet.
Yes, but can you imagine if they decide to go that route?
Oh my god!
Because that's why I think they're set up. I mean, if they did Red X, that'd be awesome too. But I don't know how much they're going to toy, because I think they're trying to cram too much into this season. But I like it that they're tying into the Titans mythos though,
Right.
with the storyline. So, I mean, I'd love to see it, but I don't know, because as you see when Jason decides to go Jason, yeah, sure, he beats down Dr. Light, but Deathstroke's standing at the end. And you have Gar just seeing the trail of blood. So as we discussed,
Oh my god! Yeah.
he's not dead.
Yep.
Because why?
Because if you don't see a body, they ain't dead. That's rule number 1. Like it, and that extends to everywhere, man. Like, okay, so even the Watchmen, right? We never saw the comedian's body. Not once in the book do you actually see his body after he dies. It's a closed casket funeral. We don't see it on the sidewalk. You never, ever once see the comedian's body. And you know what happens? He appears in Doomsday Clock because he's been in the DC universe this entire frickin' time, apparently.
Yeah.
Kicking back, chilling.
Well, how they're doing Doomsday Clock is just so incredible, too.
Oh, my God.
I didn't think it was going to be this good.
I don't think I can wait until December. I mean, I'm going to have to.
Yeah.
But, oh, dude, that last episode, just every single issue of Doomsday Clock has been just mind-blowing. Like, the issue where we find out how tied the DC multiverse is to Superman
Yeah.
is just insane. Like, Superman first appears to the public in 1938, and then again in 1955, and then again in 1985. Every single time their universe gets rebooted. And, like, in turn, so does every other universe, right? So anytime something changes in the DC universe, the starting point is Superman.
Yeah.
And then going from there, it's a ripple effect throughout the entire multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, Dr. Manhattan decides that he wants to see what happens if he decides to, pull at some strings. And all he does is just moves a lantern on a train 6 inches out of reach of the conductor and just completely erases the JSA from history.
Yeah.
Just insane. Insane.
And it's just him just experimenting.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, the DC universe is just an experiment to him.
Yep.
I mean, and how would it be if they try tying in Dr. Manhattan? I mean, I know the HBO show is coming out.
Mm-hmm.
But if he does a little tampering with the DC Universe streaming service, hypothetically, to tie into Doomsday Clock.
They're all under one big corporate banner.
Oh, I don't know. Because the way Doomsday Clock starts out is, Ozymandias and his crew, Rorschach,
Yeah.
Mime, and Marionette, leave in Archie as the world goes up in nuclear fire.
Yeah.
Because everything that he tried to accomplish in The Watchmen blew up in his face. Because, obviously, if you've read The Watchmen, you know that Rorschach's journal made it into the hands of the news. Well, it's implied that it at least arrives,
It got leaked out. Yeah, there's leaks
but
out.
they never go beyond that.
Right.
Right? And, obviously, we have now. And, the word got out that Ozymandias, Adrian Veidt, orchestrated the entire event. And in doing so, caused the entire world to just lose its mind and drove it straight into the arms of mutually assured destruction.
Yeah.
So, the whole plot at first was, we're off to seek the wizard to save our universe from the destruction that we brought it into by getting rid of him in the first place. The wizard being Dr. Manhattan, of course. And now, for some reason, the gears have completely shifted, and now it's Adrian Veidt trying to get rid of Superman, and I'm not sure what his motivation exactly for that is yet, but I'm sure we'll find out in the next issue.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be something classic when they're
Right.
coming out with it. I mean, Jeff Johns has said such a thing. And to see him with the hands-on, too, with the Titans show, to kind of wrap up what we're talking about, it's nice to see that they're really taking their time to set up both. I mean, Doomsday Clock is paying so much respect to Alan Moore's work, even though Alan Moore wants nothing to do with it.
Well,
But that's a whole different stuff.
I love that man, but that's what you get when you sell your characters.
Yeah. It is what it is. I mean, that's the easiest way to describe it. But with the way Johns is dealing with this, yes.
Disney. Marvel.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing, too. Oh, man. One Shots is going to be extended today, folks. Trust me on this one. But with Titans, though, with how Jeff Johns is weaving this, I mean, how he's tied in everything, too. I mean, you have to be excited as a comic fan for what they've done with it, too. Because they've really sold it away from the version we've seen on Cartoon Network.
Right.
And just the established, Teen Titans Go and everything's happy-go-lucky, to a more grounded version, albeit a little more violent. Like I've said, it kind of reminds me of like the 90s Extreme Studios comics, just with the violence in it. And I'm not meaning that as a bad thing. It's just very in your face, very blunt, no apologies needed. So to see him kind of tie it into now with the stories that made the Titans, make it the classics, I think it has to be very promising for fans moving forward.
Oh yeah, and I honestly love this darker turn that DC has taken, both in their digital media and in their print media, right? Because a world full of superheroes is by definition violent. The reason superheroes exist is because people needed protection, right? From crime, from the dangers that are lurking outside of their doors. And these superheroes are like what's the word?
They're the protectors who are supposed to be the ones that are doing the right thing, but yet are demonstrating in some cases the wrong thing.
That's not untrue. But ultimately, a world with superheroes would not be a sanitized world. It would be violent. It would be dark. It would be gritty because there's a lot of crime, especially if we're talking about any character coming out of, Gotham.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Dick Grayson has seen his fair share of mob crime, of murders, of stuff that you would only see on Special Victims Unit. Like, it would be a dark and gritty story, and they're nailing that aspect. Right?
Yeah, I think so. I think Titans has really portrayed that. I mean, and it's a very interesting take. Like I said, it's a lot different than my original take, which I'm very happy about. Right. Because like I said, I thought we were going to have CW meets Riverdale, or DC meets Riverdale. I had this vision of it, and I'm so happy I'm wrong. Because the show has been so good, and coming out of the gate, too. I mean, the season premiere was very, hit and miss. The hit was definitely the latter half.
Right.
The miss was the beginning. But they've now nailed it with Deathstroke and what they're setting up, and they're doing the slow take on it. And now where they're going with the storyline with Death in the Family is going to be a really interesting flip to see how Dick Grayson is now in the role of Bruce Wayne.
Right.
If you've ever read that classic story, which you should because it's so good. Minus even with the 1-800 number, it's an epic storyline either way. But for Titans though, it's a lot of fresh takes on the characters and especially everything involved in this episode. Definitely check it out if you haven't seen it already. It's on the DC Universe streaming service. New episodes every Friday. Hit us up on that hashtag ODPH. What is your thoughts on this past week's episode of Titans? We definitely want to know. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, this is RJ, Ash,
Ray,
Brandon,
Harrison.
and Bronson.
We host a Dungeons & Dragons podcast called Realms and Nerds. Some highlights of our show include wreaking havoc in every town we visit, blowing up hot tubs,
killing off fan favorite characters,
Hi, necromancers.
inappropriate wedding etiquette,
And every now and then, actually good storytelling.
Join us in the realms of Pridea for fun fantasy adventures. You can find us on Podbean, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or just about wherever you get podcasts.
Hey, this is Rob Kacharik from the band 607, Autopilot Off, and Walking Distance, and you're listening to ODPH.
Coming back for the final segment on this edition of the ODPH podcast with Justin Credible in studio with us. So I'm just going to get our shout
I hate
outs.
myself for that. I really do.
I'll let it
It's
slide,
all
man.
good.
It's slide, man. I'm just going to get our shout outs out of the way because I really want to jump into one shots and just keep the conversation going. So this Friday night, as we were recording, Friday night, September 27th, Galaxy Brewing Company. We are doing our con season kickoff because cons are kicking off big time for the hashtag 607 podcast group.
It's
so,
true.
So down at Galaxy Brewing Company, we have Shadow of the Robots, Floodlands, Brian, and Zero Mean playing. $5 cover. 7 o'clock doors open, 8 o'clock the show starts, so definitely come down. All the hashtag 607 podcasts will be down there. Horror Zone 607, Three Fat Nerds will be down there. Next day, RoberCon.
RoberCon.
Now, would you like to talk a little bit about what's going on with RoberCon?
Oh, man, I love RoberCon. RoberCons are most local and longest-running Comic-Con, and it's down at the Robertson Center over on Front Street and Robinson Ave? It's Robinson Ave, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Robinson Street?
It's over on off Front
Yeah,
Street.
it's in Binghamton.
RoberCon.org will have the directions.
Right.
We're so
And-
used to it because we go there all the time, so that's...
And I love it. I love it there because, it's a smaller con, but, it's very local. A lot of the people from the area go. The cosplay contest is fantastic. I'm actually hosting this year, which will be awesome for those who are competing because I've won this costume contest 3 times and just makes it easier if I'm not competing, right?
They'll say they're also tired of you winning, so like, listen, you're not going to win, you're going to judge.
And so what would you say you're looking for in cosplay contestants? Like, what stands out for you? Like, since you've been such a well-known cosplayer.
Right.
Like, what stands out when you're, like, looking for somebody's costume?
Well, when I'm looking at someone's costume, I'm looking at their construction, right? Like how much time they personally put into the costume versus how much money they put into the costume. Like I have a fantastic Deadpool costume.
Yes.
Like it's movie accurate. I got it from Pro Cosplay for about $350. It's very comfortable. It's very warm, so I can wear it in the winter. It's it's just great fabrics and everything. I would never compete in it though, because I didn't make a single damn thing on it.
Okay.
Right. But, that's not to say that you shouldn't just compete for the sake of competing, right? Like you can still win a cosplay contest based off of your performance, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to stuff like that, I'm looking for technical expertise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like how much effort you put into making your costume. And then on top of that, how much effort you're going to go into to portray the character that you are.
Okay.
Right? Because I've won costume contests as the Joker, right?
Oh, that's awesome.
As the Joker. The most common costume in the world. And I'll tell you what, I didn't actually make a single piece on that costume. I bought every single piece from various Goodwills. I assembled it. I found a beautiful like purple leather trench coat, which that was a one of a kind find that I'll never ever have the luck of finding again. But it wasn't that pushed the judges over the edge. I mean, obviously the costume looked really, really cool and accurate, and it just screamed the Joker. But the thing that got them were my jokes.
Oh, nice.
Right.
So you full character.
Oh yeah.
Because that's one part of cosplay too. I mean, when we have Costober on, we always have cosplayers
Right.
come on, but that's such a big aspect that I don't think it's focused on enough because everybody sees the great costumes, but it's all about the character with it.
Right.
No, I was down at Soundgarden for Free Comic Book Day when you were in your Deadpool costume, and oh my God, he had the entire line in stitches. He was walking around with a megaphone, and if I didn't know it was him, I'd swear Ryan Reynolds was walking around.
Oh, that's high praise.
It was hilarious.
I met him once.
Oh yeah.
He smells great.
Wow.
I was gonna say, did you tell him that you cosplay as him?
No. I actually went to the premiere for the Deadpool movie in New York City.
Sure.
And Ryan came out and went up on the stage and posed with a picture with all of the Deadpool cosplayers, because if you came in a Deadpool costume, you got in for free.
Oh,
nice.
Right. So me and my then girlfriend, current fiance, thank you very much.
Congratulations. Publicly now on the show.
We went down and, Ryan came out and he was like, let's get a picture with me and all the Deadpools. And you can actually see this picture if you just search, Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool cosplayers. It is the first image you will come across. And standing next to him is a lady Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
That's my fiance.
Okay.
And if you look in the background, you will see someone shooting an I love you or possibly devil horns. behind him, and that's my hand.
Oh, get out.
Yeah. So,
Kind of
he
a big
smelled
deal.
great.
Yeah. I was
Everyone
gonna say.
else in the room but he smelled great.
That's amazing.
It was great, man. Like they got Salt and Pepper to show up. They got
that's
the
awesome.
entire cast of Deadpool to show up. Even the guy who played Colossus.
How cool is that?
It was amazing. It was an awesome experience. I actually ended up on the Spencer's Facebook page.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Because we went down to Midtown Comics, just to, and there was a photographer for Spencer's there, and they were like, we're going to take a picture of you in your costume. And then, they put it up online, and I got over 2,000 likes on that. That was really cool. And then some dude called me Fat Pool, and I was like, really, man?
Really?
Really?
You can't listen to that kind of nonsense.
No, I
online.
really don't.
Yeah, I advise that to anybody because you will find people that just like to get on there and troll.
Yeah.
Just ignore them and keep it moving.
Just ask them, okay, you put your butt in some spandex. We'll see how people like you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right? What, you're so fit? Come on.
So this weekend, though, RoberCon is going down 28th, 29th at Roberson. Robercon.org for more information. The cosplay contest that you're going to be judging is when?
It's on Sunday. I believe I want to say noon, 2, something.
It has all the schedules that are up on RoberCon there, so
Right.
we definitely double check that because I know for us, we're doing our panel since we are badge sponsors of RoberCon this year. We're going to be on at 11 o'clock in the morning doing an MCU panel with Johnny Moose and Coach Duffy and Brian Rhodes. And we are just doing one live take. We're not doing any edits. We're just going to post it right then and there.
Makes it easy for me.
Yes, it'll be super easy. Pat just has to do the intro and do the outro, which will be Shout Out the Robots, 2 Week Notice, which is like the unofficial anthem for RoberCon.
Yeah.
And then the next day, should I say at noon on Saturday, is Three Fat Nerds.
Yep.
Horror Zone 607 are going to do a joint podcast as well. So it's definitely going to be the 607 podcast takeover on Saturday. And then Saturday night at Dragon Master Games, Shout Out the Robots is doing double duty for us. They're doing a free show at Dragon Masters to kind of, keep the party going, so to speak, the AfterCon party, as we're calling it. So you can find the links on that on our social media accounts. And then Sunday, we're doing the podcast workshop. Rich from 3FN, Mike C. from Horror Zone, and I are going to do it. So if you're at RoberCon, you want to talk podcast, 11 a.m., we're going to be doing it, just breaking down the 101s about it.
It's kind of weird, like the whole podcast panel thing and just how to make one because, I've been listening to podcasts for the better part since like 2005, and it just started out as this niche thing where for the majority of it, people were like, oh, what are you listening to? A podcast. And they're like, what in the God's name is that? But now it's just blown up to the point where it's like you have places like the New York Times, Washington Post. I mean, ESPN's got the 30 for 30 podcast series where it's essentially what they do with their documentary series, but in podcast form. It's just incredible to see how far it's come.
Yeah, so definitely it's going to be something to check out, especially if you're ever interested in what goes on with it. I mean, we're going to give you honest advice, honest talk about it. So hopefully we don't scare anybody away.
I wish you could get closed captioning on podcasts. No, I'm kidding.
Well,
I'm sure you can get transcripts and
on
stuff,
YouTube. We were kind of like trying to see what we can work around with that because I've seen sometimes it pops up there, but like I'll be honest, I'm still learning the YouTube game and to see
The
what we
thing
do.
with YouTube is it auto generates closed captions, if I'm not mistaken, but they can be hilariously not even true. There should be an option, and I'm sure we can dig into this, where you can
Same
turn
things for Facebook.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there should be an option. I'm sure we can dig into this. If anybody ever feels, the urge to go through this, by all means, there should be an option where we can turn it on that somebody can go through and actually subtitle the whole thing if they really feel like it.
Yeah, so definitely, if you're doing that on YouTube, hit us up and let us know how that comes out too, because I'm very interested in that. Because I mean, video is something we've kind of talked about doing after the podcast. Maybe additionally with it, should I say? I mean, obviously, it's going to be a podcast first and foremost. Any of that other stuff I know takes way too much time, and I just don't have it. But to sum it up, though, we're going to be closing RoberCon down 2 o'clock. The DC Universe panel. I'm going to be on there with Brian Rhodes too, as well, with some other people talking Crisis on Infinite Earths. So maybe we should just jump into that now, because there's going to be some big news down at New York Comic Con, which you're going to.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
We're going to be down there. The ODPH panel is. So Wizard Podcast is going to be down there. Our buddy Anime with RJ is going to be down there. If any other podcasts are going down to New York Comic Con, hit us up. Let us know. We might have some merch to hand off to you. But let's get into Crisis on Infinite Earths, shall we?
I'm so excited for Crisis on Infinite Earths. Like that was one of my favorite books getting into comics. Because like it really kind of opens your mind to a lot of stuff, like multiversal physics and like just all of this grandiose cosmic stuff that is just amazing. But also like the sheer magnitude of characters that were in that story.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are going to watch this crossover, and you're like, wow, I can't believe they had that many heroes. Wow.
It's like, for me, the cool...
not even close.
It's going to top so many things, because for me, the coolest moment of any crossover they've done was the Crisis on Earth X, the final episode where you had the shot of all the heroes in their costumes doing the, it's a little stereotypical
Dun, dun,
slow walk where they're,
dun,
dramatic, but it was, but having put all these years and all this time into watching these shows and growing with these characters, to see them all united together was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be probably a dozen or more moments in these crossovers that are going to top that.
Well, the fact that they're tying in so much history of the television side of the DC. I mean, I'm not saying the streaming service. I'm saying the DC universe.
Yeah.
If you think about it, Smallville is now getting added. Which
what's his name? Burt Ward from
Burt frickin' Ward.
Yeah.
No, listen. Burt Ward is going to be playing a Robin from a universe in which Batman died.
Oh, golly gee, Batman.
That's so heartbreaking, because obviously Adam West,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And just, oh my God, it's such an amazing concept that they're doing there. And I'll be mad if they don't do it, but does anyone remember Robin from Earth 2? He's like a Silver Age Robin.
Yeah.
He had like a gray kind of batsuit thing going on with a yellow cape and an R on his chest with bat wings, and I gotta say, it's probably his most terrible costume, but I swear to God, if they don't put Bird Ward in that, I will riot.
They gotta have there's gotta be some fan art to make that happen on there.
Well, and you bring up Burt Ward, Kevin Conroy, Batman himself is going to be playing
Conroy.
Bruce Wayne.
And I will flip out if Matt Hamill is
Mark
Hamill. I'm sorry, if Mark Hamill is not the Joker.
Mark Hamill has the potential of playing 3 different characters on this show.
Yeah.
The Trickster, the other Trickster, and the Joker.
How awesome is that?
He's down for it.
Just with everybody involved. I mean, God, that's not like I'm messing up my names here, because there's so many characters involved and so many actors
Linda
and actresses.
Carter.
Yeah. I mean, but she's been on Supergirl before, so
Right, but she'll be playing
Wonder Woman.
Right.
And the rumor is that Brandon Ruth, and Kevin Conroy are going to be playing the Kingdom Come.
Well, we know. I'm pretty sure it's been well reported that Brandon Routh is playing Kingdom Come Superman.
Right.
We know that. The other ones, that'd be incredible.
I could see Conroy being Kingdom Come Batman, and obviously Wonder Woman. Would fit that timeline perfectly as well.
Yeah. I mean, obviously one of the greatest stories in DC history.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, what do you? Alex Ross was it?
Yeah, Alex Ross and Mark Waid.
Yeah, I was about to say Mark Waid.
Yeah.
Just hands down, probably one of the best series out there.
But then you get to probably the one I think people are most excited for, and let's be honest, it's nice to have the show producer Mark Guggenheim, I think is his name, finally acknowledges that bringing Tom Welling back, who of course played Clark Kent and Superman on Smallville for 10 years.
Best Superman.
Yeah, I mean the Arrow, Flash, Legends, Supergirl, Black Lightning. None of them would be there had Smallville not had its 10-year run. Say what you will about the show. Well, had its ups, had its downs, yes. But had it not gone 10 years and had the success it did, Arrow and all them would not be here.
It's true.
Oh, fully agreed. Smallville set that bar.
Hawk got his superhero start on Smallville. He was Aquaman on that.
Yeah.
He was the one who was like, we should form a team called the Junior Lifeguards Association. Oh, is the JLL? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They even tried a Aquaman spinoff for like one episode.
Oh, that was bad.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah. At one point years ago, you could get the first episode for free on iTunes. Like they wouldn't even charge you for it.
Did you ever see the Justice League one episode thing?
Yes. That was amazing.
God.
That was amazing.
That was something.
It was something.
I don't know. I don't think I have words for that one. But
both universes have their like, we don't talk about that
moment. Of course. I mean, that's the thing. Like, there's just so much history, good and bad, but it makes for us as fans, like, this is such a payoff for us.
It also feels like a love letter.
Well, it does, because to see where they've gone now, I mean, with Arrow being the forefront of, we'll just call it the Arrowverse.
Yeah.
And now it's taken its final bow. And whatever is going to be the transition into the Canary series that they're talking. That. Yeah, which, I mean, I think they have to do something.
Yeah.
If they call it Birds of Prey, and like, move forward in that direction, maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but I'm like, you can't do that if you're doing the movie. Like, I mean, in a perfect world, you do.
No, you can. You know.
Well, I know that there's always been that kind of rough gray area between movie and film.
The TV
and film, rather.
They need to stop.
I agree.
Yeah, TV and film they've always had an interesting relationship. Oh, you can use the Suicide Squad, and now you can't.
Yeah, movie and TV has just never meshed, like, for whatever reason. Because I remember, like, when the Flash was announced in the ratings, and they had the highest season premiere at that time for CW, and then the Warner Brothers Films announced that Ezra Miller was playing
hours later.
Yeah, Barry Allen, and I know that the backlash about that, and rightfully so, was just tremendous.
Right.
It's just like, why would you just completely overshadow your success on TV? Like, I understand TV and movies are apples and oranges, but still, it's all produce. I mean,
I still need them to just at least give me some information about Ezra Miller's Flash at this point, because, like, what's happening here?
The last I heard, the director of it was now at the helm, and it is not the Grant Morrison script, or like whatever was going on with Grant Morrison is done.
Yeah, the last I'd heard was it was up to like Ezra Miller was bringing somebody on to work a script.
Right.
And Warner Brothers was going to look at it, and if they liked it, they were going to go through with it, and if they didn't, they were going to scrap the whole thing, and by the whole thing, I mean everything.
Right.
And recast, rewrite, redirector, everything. And the last I'd heard was they haven't exactly canned it yet, so...
No, like I said, the last I heard, I can't, I'm blanking on the guy's name, but the director of it was taking over the franchise. Like, he's doing something with Ezra Miller, and that was going to be the next phase. No timetable, no script, nothing. Just he was attached to the project. Whoever that, Pat's looking it up for me right now. So he was going to be working with that, and just tying it back though with Crisis, for what they've done, especially for TV and being considered in the shadow of the movies, they have established a working universe that has definitely spawned off characters that you didn't think you were ever going to see on screen.
Oh my God! Like, I remember a year before one of the seasons of Arrow, someone was like, "What random B-listers hero would you want to see like on the CW?" I was like, "Wild Dog, Ragman, those would be cool."
For reference, director of it is Andy Muschietti.
Thank you.
And then all of a sudden,
we
get Wild Dog, and we get Ragman, and like, I never ever once ever thought that Wild Dog would ever be on a TV show.
I agree with
you.
The fact they casted him, I was like, well, it makes...
Ragman had a chance.
Yeah, Ragman did, but then obviously they decided to get rid of the character from the show.
Right.
And just kind of focus, which, I mean, I think that was one problem I had with Arrow, is like they got to be such a big team.
Yeah.
That it was just like, you can't do that and just characters fall by the wayside. Like, I think that was a real problem they had with season 6, because that's when they were like building the super villain team to go against, I just referred to them as the outsiders at that stage.
Yeah.
And it was just like characters got so lost in the shuffle. Then when they finally got down to Ricardo Diaz and Oliver Miller, sorry if I'm spoiling this for everybody, but it's been out for a few years. Yeah. You've been forewarned. So once they get into that, then that's when it really shined, because that's when Stephen Amell was going against Ricardo Diaz, and just the actors were just bringing so much of that role against each other. Like, you could definitely sense what was going on. But it was cool to see, though, DC took a shot with characters like that, because, I mean, for as obscure as Wild Dog is, so unless you know 1980s DC comics, you're like, who is this? I mean, it's just being honest, and then to think like what
he's wearing hockey pads.
Yeah, like just to see that character. I mean, it was just so 80s DC. Like, that's the easiest way to describe him.
I love it.
Yeah, it's so amazing to see what they did with Legends of Tomorrow too, which is American Doctor Who.
That's the one that I fell on the wayside on, but that not because I didn't like it, just because it wasn't necessarily relevant to follow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's an acquired taste.
Right.
Like, that's the easiest way to say it.
Bar fights through history.
Yeah, but I do love it that they made Sarah Lance into such a relevant character.
Yeah.
Because she's never had this run in the comics, to my knowledge. And she was arguably the best character on any show on the CW for like a good stretch of time. This past season, though, I mean, the take they took with it was a little different. And where they're setting up for it now, they've already announced certain characters are leaving the show.
Yeah, right, obviously. I mean, like, they're all leaving the show at this point. There's only 8 episodes set up for the next season.
Yeah, and then depends on what happens after that. They're going to transition to something else.
Right.
So let me ask you this. What character would you like to see get a show on the CW DC universe.
Okay, well, honestly, I think that they should give the Elongated Man a spinoff
Okay.
Okay.
because I want to see, Ralph and Sue, detectives at large, right?
Yeah.
That'd be a great series, I think. As for I think they should really try and do a live action Static Shock.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think they could.
But the problem is that we've already got a Black Lightning thing going.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it'd have to be something else. Right?
See, what I would like to see is
because you're just double dealing at that.
Yeah.
if they were going to keep, because I don't think they're going to, but they were going to keep Black Lightning's universe separate, I wanted to see that be the Milestone universe.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That's what I wanted
Right,
to see.
bring
See
in
Hardware
Icon.
and Icon.
Oh my God, Hardware.
That's what I wanted to see with that.
I actually came across the second issue of Static Shock today at work with the origin of Static.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about working with comics is that every time someone brings in their stuff, regardless of whether it's just 99-cent bundles junk or that key issue, it's always great. I love going through comics, whether or not they're worth hundreds of dollars or just
There's
whatever.
just so many great stories
Yeah,
that
there really are.
that you can just lose yourself in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Milestone always had a great line of comics
It's true.
that I think would translate great on the CW or any network that wants to take them. Like I think Hardware and Icon.
I find that DC's still having a problem trying to integrate those characters in. Now, I know they've successfully done it on Young Justice.
Mhm.
Right.
Because Rocket is more prevalent, and then of course they've got Malcolm. Is his name Harold? Was that his character?
I want to say yes.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on it right now.
Mal Duncan.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then of course, Static has appeared once or twice, and Icon has definitely been standing there with the League. So they're trying to do something with them, but it's taking too long. Now they've got a new character out, right? By Brian Michael Bendis and oh God, who was the artist? I can't remember the artist. Naomi, right? Who today has appeared in Action Comics 1015.
Okay.
So she's canon to the universe now.
Yeah.
And I feel like we could probably use Naomi as the launching board to bring the Milestone characters back into the DC universe and give them something more concrete to work off of.
That would be amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
I'd be all for it.
But again, Action Comics 1015 out on shelves today. Stop by Soundground, pick up all the comics you want. We got tons of them. This is when I've decided to make my plug. Ha ha ha.
It's all good.
And if you sign up for a pull list, you can get 15% off all your new books, and you get to talk to me.
And that's worth it alone too, because we do share your every Wednesday. We do share your video.
And I appreciate
too.
that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we truly appreciate you down here on the ODPH. In fact, we're going to go into a little bonus one-shot segment. So let's throw in a quick sounder. You are listening to the ODPH.
Hey, this is Johnny Moose from Excite Wrestling, and you're listening to the ODPH. I didn't mess it up. I thought I would. Right now, back to the guys.
Coming back on another segment of the ODPH, getting back to talking Crisis on Infinite Earths, because, hey, we didn't even hit the biggest news of the week. Of course, we mentioned in the last segment that Tom Welling is returning to play Superman.
Whoa! Somebody save me.
Awesome theme song. I did not enjoy the tease in the last season crossover, and I didn't get Tom Welling.
Oh, my God, I was so mad about
I was
that.
mad, but then I was like, hey, you know what? They at least gave me the farm.
Right, we got the house.
We got the house. That was good. But of course, Tom Welling is reprising his role as Superman. Hopefully, he wears the suit this time for more
He's
than
got to.
for
Give
more
him
than
a cape.
15 seconds.
Dude, that guy's jacked these days, though. Have you seen
Yeah,
him?
he's ripped.
Yes.
Oh, my God. He's been preparing for this since the show ended.
Yeah. So, of course, Tom Welling's reprising his role. I know Lana, Kristen Kruk, was asked about this, and she said, hey, I'm appreciative people are asking about me and that people still show love for the show all these years later. If they approach me, I'm willing to do it. No word yet if she's going to be on it, but hey, she said she's willing to do it.
I don't think anyone asked Allison Mack.
No.
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 And if you're not sure what we're talking about, Google it.
Yeah, we don't have time for that subject.
No.
3FN has covered that, but we are not covering that.
But so one of the big stories that came out this week was Erica Durant's Lois Lane is also coming back.
Yes.
Did
I see they said recurring role?
I'm not. I'm looking at an article here from Deadline. It just says that she's going to appear as Lois Lane in multiple episodes of the 5-night event.
Okay, well, they need to be more specific when they say stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, recurring role?
Yeah.
What do you mean recurring role? But,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So you got Erica Durant coming back as Lois Lane, but then the big news that everyone's been wondering about, myself included, the greatest Lex Luthor of all time. Fight me on that one.
Of all time.
Michael Rosenbaum,
Rosenbaum,
who played Lex for not all seasons, but I want to say it was like 8 or 9, something like that. Tweeted out yesterday on the 24th as we record. So he said, "Here you go," and then it was a screenshot of a longer thing because hey, this couldn't all fit in one tweet.
Right.
He said, "Friends, many of you have tweeted and asked me about joining the Infinite crossover. I can't tell you how much this means to me. I'll just be straight up about this. WB called my agents Friday afternoon when I was in Florida visiting my grandfather in a nursing home. Their offer: no script, no idea what I'm doing, no idea when I'm shooting, basically no money, and the real kick in the ass. Quote: we have to know now. My simple answer was pass. I think you can understand why. I hope this answers all of your questions. Lovingly, Rosenbaum."
See, I think he's going to wind up coming back. I think he's just trolling right now.
Yeah, so initially, because this came across my Twitter feed a couple times, and initially it was like a punch in the gut. Like, like I feel like you need to have Rosenbaum because to me, he's the best Lex Luthor. He's the equal mix of cunning and evil, but at the same time, he can sweet talk you.
I mean, like... Is it too out of character for a Lex Luthor to hold out for more money?
No. No, I'll give you that. I mean,
That's perfect.
Let's not forget this is the Lex Luthor who, in the season 1 finale of Smallville, when his father was staring down a very sharp point of a wooden column, was really mulling it over if he was going to save his father.
I mean,
in season 1,
like
that's Lex to a T, though.
I get it.
Yeah.
Have you met Lionel?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But although I will say this, I found it hilarious. When watching Shazam to see him show up as the father of the other world's evilest, baldest, craziest super scientist.
Yeah. So as we record, if you believe Rosenbaum, he's not going to be in it. But so for me initially it was a punch in the gut. I think this just might be negotiating through the press.
Didn't they announce that principal shooting started today for that?
Well, so
I thought so.
I'm not sure about that, but the kicker for me is, and I think he may just be like pontificating or kind of blowing smoke to kind of throw it off the trail. He got a little specific about when he found out about this,
right?
And then the other thing of it is no script, no idea what I'm doing. The scripts exist. I forget who it was. I think it might have been the producer Mark Guggenheim at one point put out a photo where it was a script for all of the shows that were sitting there. Now you couldn't tell what it was, you couldn't tell what the episode titles were, but you had the logos and it, Crisis on Infinite Earths. The scripts exist, so I got a feeling this might be Rosenbaum just pontificating.
Well, arguably, we don't know when he was approached.
Right.
We just know that he has announced that he was approached.
Right.
So, this could have been any time in the last year or so when his grandfather was in a nursing home.
Yeah.
Which could also lead into the reason why he may have reacted so adversely to the offers because, he was at the time engaged with something personal, familial.
Yeah.
And then, here comes DC, hey, man, we need you for a thing.
Right.
We're not going to offer you as much money as you probably deserve.
Yeah.
Especially considering, the fan reaction.
Well, and especially the fans love him so much. And I know the reason he left Smallville initially was because he hated being bald for 8 months out of the year in Vancouver, Canada.
I get that.
Well, I totally get it. Understandable. That's why he left for a couple seasons. But hey, they brought him back. I wouldn't imagine this would take a whole lot of time.
I mean, he could just wear a hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the easiest thing. There's ways around it.
The way with filming these days is filming...
World's smartest man.
Can't
figure out hats.
Yes, there is still classic filming where it's on film, but by and large, a lot of filming is done digitally now. Right. You can bring him in for a week, 2 weeks, however long it would be, film all his stuff then, and just go, all right, you're good, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think it's going to wind up doing it eventually. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, anything is to guess. And like I said, the Allison Mack thing, I know 3FN, I'm just talking with Rich right now on the phone. They did cover it about a year ago.
Okay.
So if anybody really wants to go through their backlog and do it, because they do an awesome podcast too. But, I mean, that's just the thing with Crisis. So getting back to that is Rosenbaum, I think, is playing the long game.
Yeah.
He's definitely not in a situation like Marvel and Sony and characters
Right.
can't come on the show.
Right.
He's definitely just waiting it out, and I think it's just to be a bigger surprise for everybody because I just can't see him with Tom Welling coming back. I can't see him sitting on the sidelines.
And as close as those two still are all these years
Oh
later.
my God, yeah, no, I went to AwesomeCon 2 years ago, and they were there together. I actually saw Michael Rosenbaum for like all of 3 seconds when he like snuck out from behind the curtain and was like, "Hey guys, how's it going?"
And as friendly as both Tom Welling are with Stephen Amell.
Yes.
Like, you can't tell me that...
Dude, Tom Welling's been hanging out with Stephen Amell for the last year.
Yeah, so you can't tell me that, like, Amell doesn't see this, put in a phone call and go, don't listen. What do you want? I'll get it taken care of.
Yeah, so it's all about a matter of time, but I think by the time we get to Crisis on screen, he'll be in there, and him and John Cryer. Just wait for that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so much going on with...
last time we saw Cryer was taken by the
Monitor.
Yeah.
So he's coming back. So I mean, anything is possible. I mean, that's a great thing about when they're doing just these big crossovers. And I mean, you take the flip side to Marvel, and what they did with Avengers Endgame, and now with Phase 4 and everything coming out, especially the news that broke today.
Yeah.
That Ghost Rider no longer going to Hulu.
Oh yeah.
So it was announced back in May that Hulu had picked up 2 new live action series from Disney, specifically Marvel Television, because as some of you may know, some of you may not, when Disney acquired Fox, they acquired Fox's stake in Hulu. I believe it was NBC or somebody else pulled out of there. So now Disney is the primary shareholder of Hulu. So it's just another way for them to put out content that might not be exactly friendly for Disney Plus.
Well, considering that they already just came out and said there would be no rated R movies on Disney Plus.
So they announced back in May that they were picking up a Ghost Rider and a Hellstorm television series that would premiere in 2020. Deadline is reporting today that, quote, Hulu has opted not to proceed with Marvel's Ghost Rider. Its planned live-action series starring Gabriel Luna, who, of course, played the Robbie Reyes version of Ghost Rider back on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, the details that came out it's maybe a little hearsay, maybe a little suspect, because there's no firm details. All that was said was that there was a creative difference between the folks at Hulu and the folks on the show, and that it led to this basically point where none of them could agree. And Hulu just opted, you know what? We're done with the show. Moving on from it.
Yeah, but if he's going to wind up making his appearance on the big screen.
Right, because that's the thing is so some folks we at the show follow on Twitter were saying is, one person said, quote, so regarding this Ghost Rider thing, there's bad news, good news, and crappy news. Bad news, no Ghost Rider show on Hulu. Good news, this definitely confirms all the quote, Feige wants a Ghost Rider film whispers going around lately. And there have been whispers that he wants a Ghost Rider film. I mean, I know at one point there were some pretty heavy whispers that there was going to be a Ghost Rider film that would not entail the Robbie Reyes version, but would in fact pertail Johnny Blaze.
Johnny Blaze.
And he says the crappy news is it won't be Robbie Reyes, it'll be Johnny Blaze. And I've seen
Is that really crappy though?
Yeah, well, depending on who they get, I would say no, it won't be Nicolas Cage. You stop that right now, Ken.
Oh, but my skull's on fire.
But I mean, I know I saw it thrown around,
but it's on fire.
And like we said in another segment, I know he's thrown around for everything that has a male lead. I saw a photo of this gentleman on a motorcycle, and I kind of want it to happen. Keanu Reeves as Johnny Blaze.
Oh man,
I mean, it'd be great.
He could pull it off.
Keanu Reeves have to be everybody though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like for me, I'm still holding out. Norman Reedus is going to wind up being Johnny Blaze.
See that one I would give you.
Yeah, see, that I think would make a lot more sense.
That one I would get, and I'd be okay with it. But I think it just depends on when this movie comes, if they are in fact going forward with a movie, comes out, and whether or not he's still on Walking Dead, because that still takes up a lot of time.
Right. Well, if they cancel Walking Dead, he's just going to go over to Fear.
Yeah, that could be.
I mean, depends on what they want to do to the direction. I mean, when the book got canceled, like out of nowhere too.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I must have made it a headache for you guys.
I got lucky on that one because I found out really early on that this was like just going to be the surprise ending of the book. So I went ahead and reordered a bunch for the store. Got super lucky for that one. But oh my God, that was just unreal.
Yeah. Just the fact that sudden and out of nowhere and no rhyme or reason, especially they announced the third show coming out.
Yeah.
Right.
which is like, well, you're killing your source material. So
Well, they killed their source material a long time
yeah,
ago.
they've
Yeah.
gone off the rails.
Yeah.
like for where
Yeah.
for like if you were following the books, it's
Well, yeah,
No,
if you're
the
one of-
comics are nothing like the books.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're
in any
tradi-
sense of the word.
if you're a traditionalist and you want to see a perfect adaptation from book to screen, you're not getting that.
yeah.
But you're not getting that with the MCU either.
No.
So
No, definitely not. I mean, to see where they've gone with some of their storylines. I mean, even Avengers Endgame.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of impressed with the CW. Because at first, there's a lot of stuff that you're just like, well, that's not accurate to the comics. That's not accurate to the comics. But then, like, by the time we got to Arrow season 7, you're just like, okay. Because, okay, so Black Canary, right?
Sure.
In the comics is not original to Earth 1.
No,
Right.
She's from Earth 2.
right.
She came up with the JSA. So, in the show, they introduced Laurel Lance as like one of Ollie's ex-girlfriends who he cheated on with her sister, etc. But that's not
How she came to be.
that's not canon.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But by season 7, we have an alternate universe Laurel Lance who identifies as Dinah,
Yeah.
which is her original name, and like they did it, right?
Yeah.
Full circle. They got to the point where they're doing the stuff from the original comics, and I thought it was really cool how they got there, right? So, it's not necessarily, you don't have to be accurate to the source
Sure.
as long as the spirit of the story remains.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, they can tie it in any way they want to as long as it comes off well. And,
Right.
and that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing.
Right.
So for DC, they've done a great job with it on the CW. For Marvel,
Mm-hmm.
they can definitely do the same thing. And for
Right.
The Walking Dead, I mean, anything's up in the air, too.
Yeah.
I mean, for all the different directions they're going in. And I know the ratings have slipped a little bit
Sure.
over the years. But there's so much you can do in that universe per se.
Right. And I would say it's almost impossible to keep ratings at the high they were for a solid 10 years.
Yeah, that's just
Yeah.
unreal.
Yeah,
That's
it-
unrealistic.
like there were certain points I remember back in 2010, 2011 where they were on par, if not beating Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
Which is real hard to do.
Oh, absolutely. But to see,
I don't know. These days, though, like,
There is that.
football's taking its own beating, but we're here to talk about nerd stuff.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I mean,
we're not here for sports ball.
No, that was yesterday. Today, we were all about the nerd life. But to see where Walking Dead has kind of gone and to see if the other shows can sustain, because eventually, as the stars are leaving the major show, the
Yeah.
flagship show,
Yeah.
it's going to be a weird transition period.
Yeah.
Can the newer stories and the newer actors carry it further?
That's a good question.
I mean, it's anybody's guess. But I mean,
Yeah.
you can also say the same thing for the MCU. I guess we'll give you like a little small preview of our panel for Saturday. With the MCU now going in with stage 4.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's so much uncertainty going on. And Justin, actually, I really wanted to ask you your opinion on this. The Eternals. Do you think it's going to be hit or miss?
Oh, dude, I think the Eternals is gonna be amazing.
Really? Okay.
Okay, so I made the mistake of reading Infinity Gauntlet before watching Infinity War.
Okay.
Okay, because obviously the story is nothing alike.
Yeah.
I mean, the only common element is that big purple guy got
Grimace?
yeah, Grimace got the glove of infinite wishes. But the problem that I had, my biggest problem with Infinity War and subsequently Endgame is how low tier it was compared to
Sure.
the origins, compared to its source material.
Sure.
There's so much cosmic stuff happening in the original story. Mephisto, the devil himself, is Thanos' like grand vizier, if you
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
Like Thanos turns into eternity, which got teased in Guardians 2, right? Like, I see eternity. Eternity being, the anthropomorphic like personification of the universe, and like the Lords of Chaos and Order, the Living Tribunal, Galactus, all these major players were just nowhere to be found. But the Eternals movie is gonna do something that I don't think the people who have been engaged in the MCU were ever really gonna expect, because the Eternals, right? They are, for the lack of a better word, the new gods of Marvel.
Yeah.
Right? Like, but not the same tier, right? The new gods in DC are they're gods, right? They're god level.
Right.
They exist outside of the multiverse, right? They live on the plane of the gods. Whereas the Eternals are angels, super angels, if you will. They are the angels of these giant unknowable beings called the Celestials, who are directly responsible for not just life in the universe, but superpowers. And the Eternals themselves have been mistaken for gods, our gods. Mokari is the Egyptian god Horus. Athena is Athena or Minerva, depending on your interpretation. Icarus and Zeus, or whatever his name is, like, they are from our mythology, but we as humans did not perceive them as Eternals. We didn't see them as angels. We didn't see them as alien beings. We saw them as gods. They're part of our history, whether we know it or not, or at least the MCU knows it or not. And I think that this movie is going to just, like, blow people away, both in its storytelling, both in just how much bigger this universe is going to get. Because, yeah, everyone's talking about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Sure.
But we already know that the villain for that is going to be Nightmare.
Yeah.
So everything that happens is basically a dream sequence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the Eternals, that's happening, right? That's going to affect the world in so many crazy ways. In a recent run of the Avengers, we found out that a Celestial came to Earth and was killed by both this virus that had infected it, but also by the 1 million BC Avengers,
Right.
who comprise of Odin and the original Phoenix and the original Iron Fist and the original Black Panther, the original Ghost Rider, the original Starbrand, Agamotto himself, like the guy who made the eye, you know?
Yeah.
And just this movie is just going to be off the charts. Like, no one's really going to know how to process it. I think I'm building it up a lot. I think probably because I'm a huge fan of Jack Kirby's work in general.
See, I love his work, but I think New Gods is going to be so much better.
Well, that's because New Gods is
the
better.
original. Yeah.
Like, it's not even a matter of, like, which came first. It's just the New Gods is a better story than the Eternals. And, like, that's knowing that, you know, they have the same creator, they have the same author. You know, Jack Kirby is the creator of both stories. But just, you know, the New Gods and their story and the Gods of Apocalypse and Darkseid and Highfather and their origin, and, like, even like Darkseid's Promethean twist to his origin, how he stole power from the gods by turning them against each other, the old gods, and how you know, Highfather, to save the universe, took on the power of the God of Light, and, you know, the whole, like, source wall. Like, there's so much more to the mythos of the New Gods that it's impossible for the Eternals to be better.
Yeah.
And that's mostly because they kind of lean on this whole, the Celestials are unknowable.
Right.
Right? So is the Source. But we also know that we are the Source.
Yeah.
You know? And that's really what I love about these cosmic stories, is that it's more about us than we think.
Well, it really,
because we're the creators.
Yeah, it delves into
the audience.
It delves into so much of, like, you know, I don't want to say crossing the fourth wall, but it kind of does. There's just so much connections they can do, and I mean, for me, like, Eternals, I look at it and I'm going, I just don't see how it's going to happen for me right now, because I mean, I thought the Kit Harington casting, I thought they're wasting him on the Black Knight. And I
but
would
this could easily spin off into an actual Black Knight movie.
It could. I just don't know what to think of it, because I just remember the Black Knight and Circe romance from the Avengers in the late 80s, early 90s, and I'm just like, all right, I guess if you want to tie it in there, but I thought, like, for him, is like, he would be perfect as Wolverine.
I hear that.
Yeah. So, but I'm just very interested to see what they're going to do with it. I know this cast is very diverse, and I love the diversity they're doing and portraying with these characters. So I'm just really waiting to see how they translate.
Well, for those of you who like to read comic books instead of just watch them on the big screen, like me, I highly recommend Neil Gaiman's The Eternals, because he does his own take on the Eternals. did it recently, sometime in the last 10 years, I think.
I want to say around like 2010. I want to say, don't quote me on that, folks.
And it's not only fantastic, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be taking a lot of their source information from that series. So if you want a nice little sneak peek into what the MCU has in store for you, I recommend checking out The Eternals by Neil Gaiman.
And Shang-Chi, 10 Rings.
Dude, I'm so stoked for the 10 Rings, man. Like, first off, I love Simu Liu. I think he's a great actor. I've seen him on Kim's Convenience, which is a fun Canadian sitcom about a naturalized Korean family living in Canada, running their own convenience shop. And Simu Liu plays the eldest son on the show who, he's kind of like a prodigal son. He left because there was like a falling out between him and his father. And he's just really fun and kind of jockey on it, I would say. But I'm really excited for him because, he went from like such a small first time acting gig to freaking master of kung fu, man. Like, that's just so cool. And I love that they have taken the Mandarin and put him in a story that I think he more belongs in, because like if it's against Iron Man, it comes off as
Yeah, it just...
It's problematic these days.
Yeah. Yeah, Iron Man's got a lot going on.
Right. Whereas, Master of Kung Fu versus the Mandarin, that's obvious. I mean, that's about as obvious as recently they put out in Moon Knight Annual.
Yeah.
Where it was Moon Knight versus Kang the Time Conqueror, which is not something that you would think would be a good matchup, but then you're like, they're both Egyptian in their origin.
Yeah, nature.
So,
yeah,
right.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Right.
It just depends on what interpretation you get from Moon Knight.
Exactly.
Yeah, so because he's going to be a tricky character when they pull him off.
Oh man, now that's the one I'm hoping they get Keanu Reeves for.
See, I'm saying as a complete dark horse candidate, Arnie Hammer.
What if everyone in the MCU was Keanu Reeves?
You just imagine that
That'd be
universe.
awesome. That'd be awesome.
Just everybody. There's like 617.
You're breathtaking.
Yeah.
You're breathtaking. Half of you are breathtaking.
Yeah. That would be so epic. So epic. Man, we have been talking for a while now.
We have.
Definitely. So
have I beat the record yet?
Okay.
It wasn't intentional. I can just talk comics all day.
No, we appreciate it.
No, yeah, you have. Just a couple other quick things that are worth mentioning. PlayStation had their State of Play live stream the other day, where it's kind of like Nintendo has their Nintendo Direct stream where they show off their games. PlayStation's kind of adapted the same thing. Nothing major out of it. I mean, a couple of VR games that got announced. Their PlayStation Plus lineup for October got announced, and I would say it's arguably the best one they've ever had. The games that will be available if you have PlayStation Plus, you will get these for free if you choose to download them. MLB 19 The Show, right in time for October baseball, playoff baseball, and then the remastered version of The Last of Us 1, because as they showed off in right at the end, they showed off a trailer for the new Last of Us Part 2 video game, and they finally gave a release date. The game is coming out on February 21st of 2020, so you got time. They're putting out the first one next month as we record, so if you haven't played it before, get on it, play it. It's amazing.
You big into video games, Justin?
I play some stuff. I mean, I just got the new Legend of Zelda remaster, Link's Awakening.
I've heard that's good.
It's so good. It's a perfect remaster of the game, and obviously, I bought it at Soundgarround.
Of course,
cheap plug, but hey, keep them coming.
We got video game deals all the time, and it's not just comics, it's not just video games. We got music, we got movies, we got gaming supplies, we got toys, and we're always buying stuff too.
Yeah.
So if you got some cool collectibles and you think that you don't need them anymore in your life and you want to get some extra cash or even some store credit, which is good for anything in the store, come on down to Soundgarround and we'll see what we can do for you. Otherwise, we got tons of stuff. Man.
Yeah.
We got new comics every single week.
Yeah.
And
just the experience going in.
Right.
That's the thing, because you run into more people and everybody.
Oh my God.
No matter where you are in the store, I mean, you just start talking with people. And the
really
fandoms
do.
just
I really do. I'm kind of I'm a chatterbox, honestly. Like if you get me going on something, I'll just keep going and I'll never stop.
Yeah, but that's not a bad thing, because I know for me, like growing up, and I always used to hang out at other comic shops. Mm-hmm. And it was always the experience going in, because everybody's like, well, what do you read comics? It's like, you make your friends down there. You talk to people about your fandoms. And you know what? Nobody's going, oh, it's nerdy and all geeky. No, it's like, it's normal. It's like what I consider normal. I think everybody else is geeky. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the whole thing about it. So when you go to SGR, it's like the same vibe.
Well, we try to make it like a community.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Like, it's, you guys aren't just customers, right?
Sure.
You're our patrons. You're our friends. You're the people that, we see almost every week, or in some cases day, man. And like, if it weren't for you guys, then we wouldn't have the jobs that we have. We wouldn't have the ability to do what we love. I mean, like, I know for a fact that I could be making more money doing something else that I hate. But I love working at a comic book store. I love my customers. I love the product that I'm selling. Like, everything about this job just makes me happy,
And that's awesome.
And especially the people that I get to talk to, especially the customers that come in every week to get their new comics and just talk about stuff and like go off on these crazy tangents about like the nature of superheroing and just everything. I love it so much.
That's awesome. I mean, that's the whole thing about going to shows, and like even like we talk about con season coming up. That's the whole thing you go to cons for.
My God, right?
The fandom interaction you get is priceless.
I actually just came back from a con. Your listeners might get a nice little chuckle out of this, but I just came back from the final BronyCon down in Baltimore. It's a My Little Pony convention, and it's been happening down in Baltimore for years, about 6 years now. Mm-hmm. And this year was the final year that they were holding it, because the show is getting canceled and the costs and stuff. But man, the people that I met there are just some of the most genuine and fun people that I've ever had the great experience of meeting. And that happens at almost every con, but in this case, it's designed to happen. Mm. That's just because it's a con based on friendship, right, and the magic thereof. But it relates to everything else, man. Like, I don't think I've ever gone to a convention where I haven't made a new friend that is dear to me at this point.
Yeah, and that's the best part. That's the whole thing about going down there, is you make friends, you make those big connections where like even you're standing in line for autographs. Like, I mean, I've gone down to New York Comic Con and made a ton of new friends just talking comics in line. And just the most random conversations. And a lot of them are now listeners of the show. So we have like that interaction on social media. And like for me, I'm more excited about going down and meeting some of the other podcasts we're going to meet down in New York. I mean, for me, that's like the bonus of going.
Oh, yeah.
Let alone just being the fans and going to get autographs and meeting my favorite writers and artists and just saying thank you. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just those kind of connections we have. Like, every year I've gone, I've been lucky enough to go meet Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. Yeah. And that is my Batman run. And I mark out, like, every time I saw him. In fact,
I recommend going and meeting Tinian this year, because his line is going to be crazy next year.
Yeah, I want to go. I definitely want to try meeting him. And
it's probably going to be crazy this year, because he's been writing Justice League Dark. And, he just got put on Batman after Tom King.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, I mean, I just can't wait to see his run, because, like, for me, Snyder and Capullo's run has been like my Batman. Right. Like, that is my basis, my common denominator, like whatever my benchmark is. King has been great, because like for Snyder and Capullo, they put the fear in the bat. Mm-hmm. King has put the man back in the bat.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I can't wait to see what Tynan does.
Listen, Snyder created the Batman Who Laughs, but James wrote it.
Yeah,
like that first issue.
Oh my God,
so insane.
Yeah.
So insane. We were giving that away out for Batman Day last weekend, and I sat down, got a chance to reread it, because obviously I'm not going to open my original copy, because that one's worth $10.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be a big collector's item. I mean, that's probably the biggest villain they've had come out in DC in a couple of years.
It's true.
Easy.
Yeah,
easy.
True. Yeah. Yeah, just a couple other things to mention. I know mentioned it to a friend I would mention this, but for Pokemon Go players, you are very excited because they just uploaded, whatever you want to say, the latest generation into the game, keeping that game going strong. I know there's a lot of people still going out and playing at the various areas around the 607 area. Still a lot of fun. I play with my girlfriend. We have a lot of fun doing it. So definitely something to look forward to. Also, tonight as we record, my favorite comedy of all time returns to television, 10 o'clock on FXX. That is, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Season 14. The gang is back. I need these degenerates in my life. And if you
back in town.
If you think I'm being offensive with that phrase, you have not seen the show.
No, that show is one of a kind.
The show is amazing. I know the cast did a great interview on Entertainment Weekly, which I highly recommend you go read because they give you some teases about what's coming this season. The only one I will mention, Dolph Lundgren's coming this season. He's going to be playing a character named Thundergun, which is an obscure reference to like one episode back in like season 7 or something for a movie that was getting filmed that they never showed in the episode. So Dolph Lundgren showing up, that's enough. So like I said, season 14 premieres tonight on FXX, 10 o'clock, or wherever you are living. Check your local listings.
You can't go wrong with that.
No.
Sonny is so good.
Danny DeVito, enough said.
Yeah, absolutely.
Glenn Howerton, though.
Yeah?
Oh, my God.
Yeah? The whole cast.
Yeah.
The whole cast is a top show.
That's the one thing I love about the interview they do with Entertainment Weekly, though, is they bring up, Dee and just how much the entire gang rags on her, and just, they call her a bird all the time. And she laughs when they bring up, everything the cast does to her, and she's like, yeah, Dee should be dead like 7 times over by now.
Yeah. It's a one-of-a-kind TV show.
Yeah.
That's really all you could say about it, but it's so good.
The thing I also did love about the interview was they said probably their favorite thing about fans who come up to them is they love fans who come up to them. They say they love the show. Their favorite thing is when people say, oh, I've been watching the show since the beginning. And they know what the ratings were in seasons, like the first 4 or 5 seasons where they were almost canceled.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we know that's total crap. We wouldn't have been on the verge of getting canceled if you were watching at the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you can't go wrong with that.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. So before we close out, Justin, do you have any shout-outs, any place we can find you on the web? Let our listeners know.
Oh, yeah. You can catch me on the Soundground Facebook every Wednesday at about 3:30 for the new comics update. You can follow me on Facebook at Just Incredible Cosplay and on Instagram at JustIncredible_cosplay. And I didn't talk about her much today, which is unfortunate because she's my better half and my cosplay partner in crime. You can also find my fiance, Chrissy Thulu, Crisis Cosplay on Facebook and I believe on Instagram as well. And, if you guys ever want to talk comics or cosplay or whatever, I am always available at Soundaround during the day. And if you want to sign up for any comics in the future, definitely come down. More than happy to pull those for you. And I've had a really, really fun time talking with you guys this afternoon.
Yeah,
dude, this has been so much fun.
Really great.
Yeah, you got to come back. I know when we do Costober, we got to have you come down, and if Chrissy wants to come down too.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, she was really, really looking forward to doing something like that.
Yeah, absolutely, because, we try filling up October with cosplayers.
Yeah.
And just talk the whole experience, so we can make that happen. And anytime you want to come down, we're leaving a chair open for you.
All right.
This was a fun episode. I know we went exercise, but, when the content is great like today's show was, this has just been fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Then, honestly, I'm wrapping it up just because I know we're near the 2-hour mark, and thank you so much for still listening. Because we do appreciate that. I usually go about an hour. Oh, we're past 2 hours? See, I don't even look at time because when it's that good.
I just blew that record out of the water.
Nobody tell Moose.
Yeah, nobody tell Johnny Moose.
Or George.
Johnny Moose.
Yeah, we're going to just not share. They're going to read the timestamp, but they ain't going to matter.
Yeah.
But this has been a really fun episode, Justin. Thank you so much for coming on. And we're definitely going to check you out at RoberCon this weekend.
Yes.
September 28th, 29th. Robercon.org. If you're cosplaying, after you get your picture done by our fellow associate, Mike Blakesley, who's going to be running around, our fellow badge sponsor.
I love Mike.
Yeah, Mike's such a good dude. Definitely swing by the cosplay contest. Justin's going to be the judge there. So
Host.
Oh, host. I keep on thinking judge for some reason.
No.
No, but if you want,
I'm not a judgmental type.
No. But he's going to host it. It's going to be an awesome time. So if you can make it to that panel or contest, rather, get down there. If you can make it to our panel, it's going to be awesome. If you can make it to 3FN, they are going to put on a hell of a show. I'm telling you, the 11 to 1 o'clock time frame Saturday morning is going to be the one you want to get down to, because, like I say, 3FN is going to come and deliver it. And like I said, if you want to find out more about Allison Mack, Diesel covered the entire situation. Like I said, if I was laughing during it, because if you have never heard 3FN, what are you waiting for? Check them out. You can find their link on our friends or hashtag 607 podcast section of OchoDuroParlayHour.com. We also have the Parlay Points where you can find the comics blog. Brian Rhodes writes that every week. He's dropping something. You can find the complimentary blogs. You can find our friends of the show on hashtag 607 podcast and the music section, because you can find Floodland, Shout at the Robots, Honker, Walking Distance. I'm trying to think of their Fair City Fire, of course.
Yeah.
You can find all the music you hear on the show too. It's all one-stop shop, OchoDuroParlayHour.com. And it'll tell you what we're doing, too, because, I mean, like I said, RoberCon, and then we're heading to NYCC following week. Plus, the shows at Galaxy Brewing and at Dragon Master Games Friday and Saturday night, respectively. And again, shout out the robots that are doing double duty for us as well. That's all I got for this week. So for Padawan J.
Thank you.
For Just Incredible.
Thank you.
I am your host, Ken M. Thank you, as always, for listening to the Ocho Duro Parlay Hour, better known as the ODPH podcast. We'll see you next time.